Okay. Let's see. Corposant 1.5. I assume it's the perspective of the main team, and not Alva and her friend. Why is this glowing in the corner? Regretto, putrefaction. The first step towards the truth lies in seeking the fundamentals amidst the darkness. Let me opening something real quick, so I don't forget this later. You go over here, my screen. Okay, that should be good enough. Just readjusting my settings. Let me think. Last time I read this, it was Oliva goes to fight by herself, sends off Helena and V to go try and escape. And then 1.5, I assume, is the perspective of Commander and his friends. Should be. Anyways, so I sit on the sofa in front of the floor-to-ceiling windows, looking down on the city of Lviv. As a white zone city, it's a clean and bright place. Compared to the previous green zone cities, it looks like the product of a completely different society. Lines of cars flow steadily down arterial streets while corporate skyscrapers tower overhead. Everything here seems like it's completely disconnected from what lies beyond the quarantine walls. It looks even more developed than the major cities from my memories. Apparently, 10 years is plenty of time for a core city like this to accumulate all kinds of resources. If I hadn't been in the Yellow Zone all this while, this city could have convinced me the world was a better place compared to 10 years ago. I dragged my focus back to reality. Behind me, Kolfni is jumping up and down on the bed, making strange dorky noises as she bounces. Commander! He's actually jumping This bed is 10,000 times softer than we have in the Elmo. The white zone is for rich people. Kolfni launches herself too high and loses her balance, landing headfirst on the mattress. Her neck makes a loud crack before she bounces off this bed and hits the ground. Ah, that hurts. Alright, Kolfni, that's enough. You're messing up the bed. Yeah, sorry about that. I'll tidy up. Kolfni climbs back to her feet and looks around the room in surprise as she begins making the bed. This place is so fancy. I didn't know a hotel room could be so luxurious. Commander... Were you some kind of super big shot in the past? Oh yeah, she wasn't part of the original team at all. No, actually it's my first time staying in a room like this. Eh? No way. I thought this was your life before you went to the Yellow Zone. As if. There's no way I could live a 1%er lifestyle like this. Even though I am the commander. Even in the past, I was nothing more than a salaried employee at a small indie PMC. That's kind of a lie. Really? For some reason, I feels like you're hiding something, Commander. Currently, we're in the penthouse suite of the Lviv Grand Intercontinental Hotel. Our accommodations are comprised of 3 rooms, 2 bedrooms, and a living room that doubles as a guest room. There's plenty of space for her. In addition to the luxurious furniture, the suite is filled with gleaming works of art. Thanks to the past, we haven't been hindered or searched once on our way here. In fact, the concierge handed us the keys to the suite without a second word. Municipal police eyed us a few times, 2 dolls ending my sides, our luggage raising flags, but each time one glanced at our ID and they immediately backed off. I have to say, this does feel quite novel compared to my usual way of life in the Yellow Zone. While Group 2 didn't take the same train as us, their reports indicate their journey's been going quite well as well. Kolfny, can you lend me a hand? Sure thing, I'm coming later. Kolfny and Groza help me put away the luggage and they begin extracting all manner of items from them. Kolfny quickly checks our weapons, puts them into a big safe deposit box inside the wardrobe. Meanwhile, Groza begins connecting various pieces of electronic equipment in the living room. Before long, a brand new secure communication server is up and ready to go. After powering up the Type 70 two-way low-frequency MES system, Groza connects to an encrypted level 2 layer and establishes contact with the other teams. Commander, 404 and Monsoon have already reached their destination safe passes, and they're developing their equipment. They'll be scouting the high ground nearby afterwards. Alright, make sure they keep a low profile. Have them send their routes over so I can go through it before they proceed. Will do. I'll let them know. Oh yes. Isn't it almost time for the scheduled check-in with Springfield? Yes. We have about 10 minutes or so. Alright, let me know when she calls. Groza nods, then begin briefing Group 2. I take out a bottle of sparkling water from the fridge. The glass is crystal clear and it even has intricate seal on the surface. I sigh. This bottle of water could probably cost a month's worth of mission earnings in the Yellow Zone. Now that's just bonkers. I twist off the cap. The bitter liquid flows over my tongue and helps ease my fatigue a little. Dandelion. What's up, Commander? And already enjoying life? Enjoying the rich person's life. I hear teasing laughter over my earpiece. I quickly sweep my gaze across my surroundings, looking for hidden cameras. Oh, don't be so anxious, Commander. I was simply borrowing Kolfny's visual feeds. And what do you know? The very first thing I see is you downing a bottle of something super expensive. I look behind me and sure enough, Kolfny's sitting on the bed and looking at me. I walk over to Kolfny and turn her head to the other direction. Okay, keep facing that way. Don't look at me for now. After ensuring Dandelion can't see me, I key my earpiece and continue the transmission. What is it? New news? Just making a routine check-in. The Elmo is now stopped beside the railway station you set from, near the green zone quarantine walls. I doubt anyone would be bold enough to launch an attack there. It is a giant super armored vehicle. I've already placed an order for chopper fuel and the local underground brokers are already sending supplies over. This way, Group 3 will be already ready to extract you from Lviv. Speaking of which, Commander, I was looking through the Elmo's accounts. I have to say, your finances are in a really sad state. Always. He does own like 15 dolls now. It's very expensive. Wait, you hacked my accounts? Oh my, how is that considered hacking? I prefer to call it effective asset management. Well, thank you very much for that. Unfortunately, the Elmo really is strapped for cash, so if that really bothers you, why don't you top off our accounts with your URNC salary? So not only do you want me to work for free, but you even want me to pay for the privilege of doing so? You're so inhumane. Oh man. I choose to ignore Dandelion's theatrics. How are those things with the 3rd gen dolls and Milani on board the Elmo? They're pretty normal for now. I've arranged for Groza's team to keep an eye on them. They shouldn't cause any trouble for the time being. There haven't been any new developments otherwise. As for the Gerard group, it seems they'll be holding a press conference today. If anything important comes up, I'll share it with you. That works for me. Thank you. Commander, Miss Springfield made her check-in call. Alright then. That's all for now then. We'll talk if anything new happens. Okay. I nod to Groza and she patches Springfield on my earpiece. Commander, Springfield, how's the mission going? You should have linked up with Kaylin by now, right? Indeed, we're with Miss Kalina now. Things are bad. However, Springfield hesitates and I sense that something's wrong. She's been hospitalized and undergoing treatment. I've also heard that you've arrived at Lviv. Could I trouble you to come over and visit her? Wait, she's been hospitalized? What happened to her? Springfield doesn't reply right away. I can hear someone whispering from her beside her. I'm sorry, Commander, but the details are very complicated, and I might not be able to explain them over transmission. It would be best to explain specifics to you in person. I've sent you the address. In addition, Miss Kalina would like to speak with you face to face. Happy-go-lucky trip already over. Understood. Heading over right now. Very sorry to convince you, Commander. Not at all. Are you alright? Yes, we dolls are fine. It's just that Miss Kalina... In any case, we'll be waiting for you at the hospital entrance. Alright, give me some time. The transmission ends and I begin thinking. Springfield mentioned that Kelleen was in the hospital with the Zucchero girls and Kalina attacked during the handover? Alarms immediately go off in my head. If Helena could be attached, even in the White Zone, it means Namfa doesn't have much control over the situation in Lviv. That also implies that what Kruger said about putting the Aurora group on trial is probably not going to happen. I remember an incident in the city of Belgrade. It strikes me that I have nowhere near enough forces on hand to handle a clash at that level. Groza, get ready to move out. This is our destination. These coordinates are... Is this a hospital? Did something happen? Yeah, something happened to Kaylin. I don't know the details yet. I only found out about Springfield transmission. My guess is that they were attacked during the Helena handover. And Kalina's probably hurt. They were attacked? Is Helena alright? I don't know at the moment. In any case, we should get moving, ASAP. Monsoon stays behind to gather intel near the hotel. 404 shadows us from a distance, keeps our eye on surroundings. Understood. I'll relay your orders. Help the commander gear up. It's just a hospital visit. I'll be fine with my sidearm. 404 will carry long-range weapons. Make sure they don't catch the attention of municipal police. Groza and Kulfny nod, then begin working on their respective tasks. I rub my temples, feeling grateful for my instincts. Of course, my trip to Lviv wouldn't be one that's just easy and casual. The taxi drops us off at the main gate of the hospital, but what surprised me is that it looks nothing like what I imagined. It doesn't look like a hospital so much as another hotel? The main courtyard's lush greenery speaks of careful landscaping, while the corridor in the hospital interior remains nearly empty of foot traffic. I head towards the front door. Springfield's already there and clearly been waiting for a while. Commander, you're here. Groza and Kulfny nod to Springfield, but I'm more concerned about what just exactly happened to them. What's the current situation? I'm very sorry. We were attacked while we were meeting up with Miss Kalina. Was the garage group? I'll take it from here. Kruger walks out from the inside the building, wearing a formal suit. His face is gloomy, which is unlike how he was when I last saw him, home in the Elmo. Mr. Kruger, you're here too? Yes. After all, I bear responsibility for what happened here. Let's continue this inside. Come with me, Commander. Kruger turns and heads inside. I follow him without a word. Inside the corridor, I see several men in suits speaking into their lapels. They eye us warily. I say a few quiet words to Groza, having her remind 404 not to end up clashing with Kruger's people. Groza nods and begins speaking to them in level 2. At the end of the corridor, Kruger opens a door. Small reception room beyond, another door on the far side of that one. My instincts tell me Kalina should be in there. What a crazy nice little place. A petite doll is standing in the corner of the reception room. Her hand is raised in greeting. Naturally, I won't be surprised to find her here. Leva walks over to a nearby sofa, her hands behind her back, which is ramrod straight. The other doll silently moved to her side while I settle into one sofa facing Kruger. Kruger takes a seat and sighs heavily. Then he looks up, awaiting my questions. What's going on, Kruger? Your guess was correct. The Gerard group attacked the handover point and engaged our agent team in Kalina. Did they take Helena? No, they didn't get anything. Okay, what? They surrounded the handover point and knocked out our human personnel with some kind of unknown radiation weapon, including Kalina. Meanwhile, our tactical dolls were standing off against the Gerard group's armed forces. In the end, we didn't let them take Helena. So Helena's... she's not with us either. 2 dolls from Task Force DeFi took her with them. DeFi? I think I should let someone who was there tell you about it. Leva was on the scene at the time. Her log should be quite convincing. Leva nods, then takes a step forward and offers me a tablet. It's been a long time, Commander. Allow me to explain what happened. The tablet contains Leva's visual logs from their standoff with the Gerard Force to the 2 DeFi dolls moving with Helena. Leva goes over the events in the video as they play out before me. So Gerard forces surround you. Try to kidnap Helena. Then DeFi suddenly showed up and took her away during the standoff? That's right. The opposition had very strong electronic warfare capabilities. Both our human and doll elements were suppressed from the very beginning, subject to the unknown collapse particles, which we failed to detect. No, deduct is right. Is it detect or deduct? I guess they're trying to deduce what it was, so yeah. They were led by a very powerful 3rd gen doll, strong enough to fight AK-15 to a standstill. Excuse me? The most powerful Gen 2 doll by a long shot. Have a look, Commander. In the video, I see AK-15 clashing with a doll in a fancy dress. For a moment, AK-15 is at a disadvantage. There's an explosion, and then DeFi is nowhere to be seen. They took Helena and fled into the sewers. After that, Gerard horses locked it down. Pretty bold of the Gerard group to hit a non-foot personnel this close to the White Zone, don't you think? Kalina and the others exchanged fire with unknown mechanical units first, and then that 3rd gen doll showed up with the local security forces and surrounded the warehouse. Strictly speaking, it was a perfectly normal police response to an alert. Textbook entrapment, don't you mean? Nothing they did violated green or white zone laws. I also contacted the Gara group's chairman, and he swore that this was his underlings acting on their own. He wasn't informed and never gave his approval for anything like this. As if anyone believed that bullshit. That man is a pretty precarious person in his own right. Given the situation, he had no reason to attack us. So I suspect there might be a new, uncertain element involved here. In any case, I'll keep applying pressure to make sure this kind of attack doesn't happen again. We'll do our best to get Helena back. At the very least, she should be relatively safe as long as she's in DeFi's custody. You know, except they were deciding whether to kill her or not. Though they ended up agreeing to not do so. Why would DeFi take Helena? I believe that at the time, the DeFi dolls determined that Gerard was on the verge of seizing Helena, so they decided to intercept her instead. That course of action would make sense. They might not be affiliated with StatSec anymore, but they still have their ways to reach us. That said, I find it very suspicious they haven't contacted us even after taking Helena with them. In the past, Melania said that StatSec agents had tried to rescue her, and DeFi is closely linked to StatSec. Perhaps they were involved with Helena's situation before I was? But I still can't bring myself to relax until I see Helena safe. Noting my frown, Kruger stands up and pats me on my shoulder. After seeing me raise my head, he points to the inner door and speaks to me. We'll look into Helena's situation. Until then, you should go see Helena. She's in the ward over there. Element's radiation sickness is hitting her hard. She's feeling very depressed right now. Maybe seeing you will help her cheer her up a little bit. Yeah, I'll have a good chat with her. I nod and rise to my feet. Kolfni moves to follow me, but Leva raises a hand to stop her. Let's give them some time alone. Our great and perfect plan horribly ruined, and her confidence is destroyed. Kolfni looks at Groza in confusion, but Groza nods to Kolfni too, so she immediately returns to her previous place. Oh man, this music hits a little hard every time. I open the door and find Lena sitting on the bed. Ah, Commander, you're here. Lena lightly shakes the person lying on the bed, but she doesn't respond. Kalina wraps herself in her blanket, curling a cocoon with her back turned to me. She shows no sign of responding to Lena. Let me handle this. Lena nods to me, then hops off the bed and heads outside. Commander, make sure you have a good chat with Kaylene, okay? Literally all her plans and happy-go-lucky everything, all shot. After whispering in my ear, Lena steps outside and closes the door behind her. I gulp. It sounds simple enough, but I can't help but feel nervous about it. After calming myself down and pulling myself together, I address the head of the sickbed in a voice as natural as I can manage. Kaylene, are you alright? I creep to her bedside and rise to my tiptoes, trying to glimpse her face. Kaylene seems to realize what I'm trying to do and covers her face with a blanket. Soft sniffles escape from beneath the fabric. I sigh quietly, then take my seat behind her, waiting for her to emerge. The ward is filled with an almost unbearable silence, which only makes me more aware of how out of place I am here. I have to say something to break this deadlock. With that in mind, I decide to speak. Say, Colleen, about that broker you recommended last time? Is he the one that kept quoting you the lowest prices? For some reason, stuff seems a little bit dodgy. Still, I get you're watching over every penny when it comes to expanses like this, so it's understandable you're going for the most cost-efficient option. I guess you're still as thrifty as ever, even after becoming a counselor, huh? As if. Upon hearing this, Colleen is so annoyed she props her head out of the blanket and glares at me. I made the best choices. How could I possibly recommend cheap merchants to you, Commander? You're slandering me. I picked out the best brokers in the area for you. Her tears from just now are still welling in her eyes. Without her blazer, Kalina's angry expression can't hide that glimpse of youth and innocence I remember. She seems to catch herself. In an instant, the sheets are yanked back over her face, her hands swiping hastily at tear-streaked cheeks. Damn it, you did it to me again. Clears and throat? Well, I'm glad you're as energetic as ever, enough to respond to like that. Now that Kalina isn't going to retreat under the covers for the time being and cry more, I finally had the chance to have a proper conversation with her. In an attempt to ease the awkwardness in the air, I look at the fruit basket near the head of the bed. There's apples and a fruit knife in there. One apple? I'll peel one for you. Kalina lowers her head without saying anything, then nods in silence. I pick up one apple and begin removing its skin. Meanwhile, Kalina's eyes are fixed on the apple. I hand her the peeled apple, and she takes a bite of it. Then tears start flowing once again. Commander? I'm sorry. It was all my fault. I couldn't protect Helena. Her voice is very soft, but every word oozes self-loathing and regret. I don't know how to console her. After thinking for a moment, I muster up a simple reply. Helena is currently with Defy. The Draugr didn't manage to snap her, which is a plus. But your health? My health doesn't matter here. How could it not matter? What matters is that I've lost Helena twice. I'm too ashamed to face you right now. Don't worry too much about it. Just focus on getting better. You're attacked by literally the most powerful third-gen doll we know of. We'll get her back. Count on it. I know you can do it, Commander. You'll definitely bring Helena back. And even if someone tries to interfere, just thrash them within an inch of their life. You can always turn any situation around, no matter how bad it gets. Galena folds her knees against her chest and buries her face in them. But I can't. I'm just no good at combat leadership. I'm just good at intel and office work, but when I'm needed, can't do it. I prefer sorting ammo and writing reports, actually. But there really aren't any places that let me do that anymore. I've been elevated too high. Stakes are too high. There's no place for me there anymore. So I've got to do all these things I hate. Leading troops I'm not ready to handle. It can't be helped. Because I need to prove I can still make a difference, even if I'm alone. But I just can't do it. I just can't. No matter how hard I try, nothing changes. No matter how many people I arrest, no matter how many criminals I put away, I can't even make my surroundings a better place, let alone the URNC as a whole. Why did things turn out like this? Kalina viciously clutches the sheets, and the wrinkles in them only grow deeper as she uses more force. At first, I was really mad when I heard about your decision. Why did you just leave without saying anything? You didn't even tell me. It's because I was just a burden to you? No, never. It's just, I paused for a moment and then decided to tell her. It's just I didn't want you to have a life like mine with no future. I've already suffered too much, and your body wouldn't be able to take it. There is no need for you to go back into that mess. That's what I mean, Commander. You've never truly looked at me. Perhaps I'll always be a kid in your eyes. I read your service record after joining NAMFA. And after learning just how much you've been through, I realized that perhaps I would never be qualified to stand by your side. As for all the people who died, I couldn't sacrifice and contribute like they did. I didn't even have a chance to try. You're already gone. No, never. Am I wrong? Still, I don't blame you for that anymore. I know you hid the truth out of consideration for me. The longer I spent in NAMFA, the more I came to realize why you're disappointed in the URNC. Reaching the highest levels, things have become apparent. Everything's fucked. Kalina raises her head to look at me, and in her eyes I see a complex mix of emotions. Frustration, regret, longing, and still hope. I'm so sorry, Commander. I should never have involved you in Helena's mission. I wanted to take this opportunity to contact you again, even if just a bounty hunter and a client. Oh man, I totally forgot she is the one who sent us Helena in the first place. We get the random unknown distributor with the package, and Helena's in there, and it was just her, and forgot about that. Perhaps we could have gone back to how we used to be after working together? That was the hope. Maybe you might have been willing to join NAMFA? More hope. That way, we'd have been able to work together like we did in the past. With you directing combat ops, with me supporting you all from behind. After saying that, the hope in her eyes fades, replaced by helplessness and resignation. But I don't want you to come back to this messed up world, Commander. It's so messed up that there's no hope in sight. Everything just follows a scripted scenario by literally the ultra-wealthy corporations and PMCs. And justice, fairness, freedom. All fake, all lies. The corporations just get bigger And nobody cares about people outside the walls. After I contacted you the first time, I even imagined myself going over to the Elmo. I wanted to just throw everything away and head out on the spot. Give up this life. After all, I never had anything to lose in the first place. Why should I even stay here and keep suffering, if not to fulfill my duties? I'm sorry, Kalina. It was my fault for making you suffer pain that you should never had to bear. If I could have, but you couldn't. I know this now. The truth is, you don't care anymore. Not even about yourself. You'd have made the same choice anyway, no matter the cost. I wanted to become someone like that, even though I knew how hard it could have been, and would have been. It's just, Kalina can't bring herself to go on. She picks up the apple and bites down on it, then offers it to me. I take it without hesitation, take a bite too. Kalina smiles in a complicated way, wipes her tears and speaks to me. You're just too kind, Commander. But for me, this kindness is agony. Please let me be alone for a while. Kalina lies back down and covers her face with her blanket. I don't know what to say right now. Words bubble up inside me, but die before they reach my tongue. I put the apple on the table and stand up, but she doesn't react. All I can do is turn away, open the door, and leave the room. Kruger is waiting outside for me, waiting right outside for me. Is she alright? I think so. She said she needs some time alone, though. Her self-confidence took a big hit this time around. She's always very competitive. In this case, just so happened to involve you too. Is there anything I can do? As though he knew I'd ask that question, Kruger turns away and picks up a folder, which he hands to me. This is a file in the Gerard group. I believe you already found clues on how they were working with Paradius, and information pertaining to Project Eden. Project Eden? What the hell is that? That's what we want to know too. On the surface, it combines collapse, contamination removal with power regeneration. And the leader of this project is the daughter of the Gerard Group's chairman. Her name is Orphelum. Orphelum. Yes. She'll be holding a press conference on Project Eden, where she will announce technical details soon. At first, I plan to have Kalina make contact with her, but... Kruger looks towards the ward. Right now, she needs to rest and recover. Can I entrust this task to you instead? What exactly do you need me to do? I'll arrange a cover identity for you as a member of the press. While doing so, I want you to build a relationship with her, figure out just how much she knows about Project Eden. However, the most important thing is to ensure that she's safe. The Gerard Group is getting ready to turn over all their evidence regarding the core operation with Paradius. This means the chairman's daughter might end up being kidnapped to forestall that process, or simply as a revenge target. Wouldn't an overt security detail be better? You couldn't have them protect her directly. There are some uncertainties regarding the Gerard Group's plea deal. I'll do my best to expedite the process, though. Until then, Nomfa doesn't want the public to link them too closely to Gerard Group. Once this information makes it to the public domain, the media groups controlled by other corporations might end up twisting the facts into their own interpretation of things. We can't be aligned with them. So you want to control public opinion, then? I understand. Yes. I'll have Leva provide information support. But you have complete operational freedom from this moment on. I think you should have enough weapons and dolls to complete this mission. Let me know if you need more resources. Alright. Tell me if you hear anything about DeFi or Helena. Will do. Kruger pauses for a moment. Welcome back, Commander. Having you around is very reassuring. I'm not back, Mr. Kruger, but don't worry. I'll finish the mission. The second step lies in the cleansing of impurities, albedo of purification. After passing through multiple layers of security checks, I find myself standing at the entrance of the Gerard Group's headquarters. I take a deep breath. The building's interior surprises me more than the entire city of Lviv. The floors are so clean that they're practically shining. Holographic time displays hang in the air, and I'm surrounded by the faint scent of disinfectant. All of this fills me with an instinctive sense of discomfort. As my first impression, the internal layout of the building projects a glimpse of the future. Except this isn't future for everyone. Very dystopian corporate future. Looking at the milling throng at the building's entrance, I silently give my thanks that I'm the VIP access corridor. There are few people in this express corridor, so I'm able to bring the dolls in without drawing too much attention. I try to loosen my tie as I walk. It feels like a noose. While muttering to myself, my hand reflexively reaches my waist, where my handgun ought to be. However, there's nothing but well-made fountain pens and a pass there. I'm currently wearing a suit and loan from the hotel. Macchiato spent 3 full hours trying to reshape my image from my mannerisms to etiquette knowledge. It's like she's completely reinventing my persona. Still, it feels less like putting on a suit of ill-fitting clothes than wearing a skin that isn't mine. The businessmen behind me clear their throats and glare in displeasure. I didn't even realize I've been standing too long in front of the security checkpoint entrance. Alright, time to get to work. Ex-journalist of the Shining Age. Commander, your shoulders are too stiff. Journalists don't stand up that straight. Relax a little. Remember that you're our editor-in-chief right now. I haven't been to places like these for a long time already. There's a strange smell in the air. Do chief editors get nervous over interviews? I guess so. I shrug off the annoyed looks behind me and lead the dolls into the headquarters of the Gerard Group. Once I'm in the entrance hall, the lavish facade is gone, replaced by cold inspection devices and stern-looking security personnel. We still have 6 hours until the Gerard Group's technology summit. The main conference hall inside the building has already been set up. Guided by the signage and the receptionist, the summit attendees and press personnel file into their venue and make their preparations. Identity verified. Disguised as a media team from the Shining Age news agency, we undergo identity verification procedures at the security checkpoint. As editor-in-chief, I'm trailed by Grozon Kolfny. This way, please. After verifying our identities, the receptionist leads us inside. There's a pre-summit tea gathering happening on the other side of the glass wall. The receptionist stops near a stairwell, then hands me a card with a smile. This is the key card for your suite, courtesy of the organizers. It'll be a while until the summit begins. Until then, you may rest in your room and prepare for the evening's interview. Of course, if you wish, you can also participate in the ongoing gatherings. Perhaps you might find a way to find valuable news before the press conference begins. We wish you a pleasant day. Thank you, sir. I smile at the receptionist. The result of the team and I watch as they leave. The rest of the team. Have the other teams made it in? They're still on the other side of the building, waiting as their weapons are brought in through a food service corridor with the catering. Klukai will contact me once they're ready. I hope nothing goes wrong on their end. What will we do next? What's the plan? Let's check out the inside of the building. That will have some means of dealing with any contingencies. Also, there's that young miss from the Gerard Group. I take out her photo ID and study it carefully. For some reason, I feel like I've seen her face before. Have you met her before, Commander? For someone in my position, there's no way I could have, but still seems kind of familiar. Probably deja vu or something. After giving myself a quick once-over, we decide to mingle with the other attendees to try and figure out what's going on. A steady stream of researchers and scientists are entering the venue hall. Some of the more prominent, famous, and senior ones are being mobbed by pressmen trying to tease scoops out of them. Elsewhere, the researchers who are newer to the identity industry are gathering in front of the refreshments table, seemingly exchanging gossip. I send Grozon Kolfny out to conduct fake interviews while I try to find Orphelium among the attendees. However, nobody who resembles my objective appears even after I made a circle around the venue. As I'm drifting aimlessly around the hall, I spot a group of young men discussing something. They're simply dressed, but with a distinct academic air. I pretend to consult Gerard Group prospectus while eavesdropping on their conversation. Man, did you see the constipated look on the professor's face when he was being interviewed? Oh, yeah, I saw that. Must have been a question about the Orpheum again. I guess everyone's only interested in young geniuses, and not the professors with their own research. Upon hearing the keyword Orpheum, I surreptitiously moved closer to them for a clearer picture of what they're discussing. Money really is the most important thing when it comes to research. Despite her young age, she managed to gather the funding needed to build a lab of her own, and get people like the professor to work for her? It'd be hard for someone like that not to succeed. If only my parents had worked harder than I as a kid. Maybe it would have been the one speaking on stage later, instead of that person, said Wolfine. The students chat casually, all seeming to be around Wolfine's age according to her resume, though her impressive achievements clearly make them uneasy around this exceptional peer. Did you see that interview of hers last month? Oh, you mean the one where she was talking about how she grew up? Professor gave me a copy and told me to study it carefully. Yeah, he was muttering crap like, if only I had a student like this. I wouldn't have to worry about my retirement fund and whatnot. Professor, don't give up so soon. Your 50s are your prime. I wouldn't know, I'm 30s. That said, there's no way that more mortals like us can help to replicate the legendary lifestyle of a genius like her. So, do you think she really lived through the Frankfurt incident like she said? Or did she just sprinkle it into her personal history to add some color? Some flavorful color to her back history. Who knows? I was only in middle school 10 years ago. I guess everything I knew about it came from the TV? Well, claiming she's a survivor of the Frankfurt incident, that's one hell of a lie. You gotta make it more believable, Miss Genius. They end up talking more about Elphine, but I've already tuned that out. I became lost in those decade-old memories from the moment they mentioned that word. The flames of the NSU's war burned from Moscow all the way to Frankfurt. The fragile illusion of peace was shattered by the hands of the people themselves. The scorched earth was soaked in the blood of the fallen. Countless lives reduced to nothing more than sacrificial lambs. Alarms, gunsmoke, ruins, mothers in despair, weeping children, dolls fleeing in all directions. And then there are the memories from Nirvana being opened. Commander, Chief, Editor-in-Chief. When I come to my senses, I see Kelphnie looking at me with anxiety in her eyes. The venue hall has gotten noisier before I realized it. A large-scale pre-conference interview begins as the media personnel begin arriving. Flashbulbs and cameras are going off all around me. While I figured nobody remembers my face anymore, I should probably avoid exposing myself excessively to photographic and video recording equipment. I'll go take cover over there. Keep watch inside the venue. Let me know immediately if Elphine shows up. Will do. I quickly dart around the packed crowd, through the revolving door, and arrive at the rooftop balcony outside the venue. The balcony is much quieter compared to the inside of the venue. A gentle breeze caresses my face, and briefly frees me from my chaotic thoughts of the war. The news I just heard sparks an explosion of thoughts in my mind. Wolfine, so she was a survivor of Frankfurt after all. If that's true, then what role did she play when she was there? A civilian? A scholar? A soldier? Or was she a member of Paradius? Did this Project Eden she's working on now grow from seeds planted back then? Does that dazzling CV of hers hide an involvement with Paradius? Or is she just another Paradius leader thrust onto the stage after William made his exit? As I lose myself in thoughts, a voice suddenly shatters the peace in the balcony. Honored guests and fellow scholars. No, that's not right. We are gathered here today to bear witness to a miracle of science. Trying way too hard. As the supervisor of the Gerard Group's biotechnology department, I am honored to... No, it's my honor, profound honor to... How's this any different? No, she's not ready for her speech. The voice comes from both sides of the balcony. There's a small gazebo there, half hidden by the shrubbery. I turn to look at it and see someone pacing there, seemingly frustrated about something. Damn it. Damn it, damn it. Why can't I even memorize a simple speech? As the young woman's voice reaches my ears, followed by the sound of a stack of papers hitting the ground hard. It's all the fault of those clowns who wrote this awful script. Doesn't suit me at all. The Gradle Fiend should be making a more brilliant, more exciting speech. One that highlights our scientific achievements. Just big question mark. I silently study this sudden speaker. While I'm still some distance away from her, my instincts tell me that she's my target. That said, I didn't expect to encounter my mission objective here at all. It's hard to believe that she, the daughter of the Gerard Group's chairman, would actually go around without a bodyguard by her side. The girl calling herself the Great Exilium is nothing like the elegant, confident scientist mentioned in my files. Even her appearance doesn't match too well with her picture. I continue approaching and finally manage to get a good look at her. What shocks me is how young she looks, like a freshly graduated university student. Currently stomping the ground in frustration, trying to pick up her scattered papers, but then a sudden gust of wind ruins her plans. Ah! My papers! Come back! Stop flying off! Panicked, she goes after the wind-tossed papers like a kitten chasing a butterfly. As one of them drifts over the edge of the balcony, she leans out to get it. Look out! Don't jump off. As I see her about to fall off the side of the balcony, I stop caring about whether she's my mission objective and break into a sprint. I grab her collar with one hand and pull her back from the brink, while snatching the fluttery sheet of paper out of the air with the other. Because, you know, longer arms. She stumbles under the sudden tag, but soon finds her footing before turning to face me. Said face is youthful and delicately featured. Her turquoise eyes would normally be glittering with wisdom and pride, but currently filled with surprise and a hint of embarrassment. Who are you? Why are you listening to me while I was practicing? I was just, checking the direction of the wind. You know, with my body. Checking the wind, you say? Of course. Understanding the environment is a fundamental part of the training as a meticulous scientist. For instance, the wind speed now is 5.3 meters per second, blowing due southwest. Ambient humidity 43%. She discreetly smooths out her ruffled clothes and hair as she speaks. The panic she doesn't even try to hide makes it all seem performative. I can't help but frown. Is she putting on an act? That's definitely doing your due diligence, scientist. Would you like me to help you collect your papers? She hesitates for a moment. I will allow you to provide your assistance. But on one condition, no peeking at what's on them. Top secret scientific research after all. Understood. Oh, great Exilium. Wait, you know me? I mean, I just heard you called yourself that. Besides, you're one of the keystone speakers of the summit and a scientific genius from the... That's probably why all of the present at the venue didn't realize she was the real deal. Of course, it's to be expected. I'm a world-famous scientist, after all. I'm just bad at dealing with boring and annoying social events like these. Is that why you decided to hide out here to practice your speech? Who are you, anyways? Why are you here? Are you one of those annoying paparazzi? Actually, yes. Sort of. Are you trying to get an embarrassing picture of me? I forget you to repeat my words just now. I won't acknowledge them, even if you do report them. It's true that I'm a journalist, but I'm not here to capture scandals. Truth is, I'm trying to avoid the press of people inside. I'm not used to places so... cramped. Understanding seems to dawn on her face. Sympathy and understanding flashing through her eyes. Her mood does seem a little mercurial for someone of her status. Oh, and what will you do with you? I suppose I'll just have to place my faith in you then. After all, such dreadfully suffocating inside of there. Are you nervous about the upcoming presentation? Of course not. Orphelian Gerard fears no challenges. It's just a little speech. I could do with my eyes closed. And despite her words, she ends up crumpling the paper in her hands. Well, presentations can be quite challenging, especially in front of so many industry professionals. I've interviewed many world-class experts in the past, and many of them felt tense when they had to give an address. You're not writing a paper, you're presenting said paper. Really? It's the same as when you do your doctorate dissertation. Of course, it's perfectly natural to get nervous, especially when they try to believe your work and how the audience views it. All they want is a genius scientist giving an exciting presentation, but the contents of the speech don't sound like anything I would say. Then why did you prepare a script you don't like? That's because nobody understands me when I try to explain in my own words. Her expression grows complicated. It seems she's recalling an unpleasant experience. The last time I tried to give a presentation in my own style, my sister called it a disaster. According to her, it took a lot of effort to delete all the video records of the internet. A disaster? During the course of my research on quantum entanglement and cross-dimensional photosynthesis, I discovered a pigment molecule superconfiguration based on a non-Euclidean topological structure that could convert dark energy into bioenergy through negentropic increase. The mechanism is entirely different from the dehydrogenase meditated proton pump coupled electron transport chain conventionally observed in nature. Instead, it relies on a vibrational mode in the 11th dimension world of superstring theory. Would you be interested in a speech like that? Orphelium seems to sense my awkwardness and smiles nonchalantly. You see? Turns out most people aren't as interested in actual knowledge as they think. They just want summaries. Perhaps the problem isn't the content, but how it's presented? Explain. What do you mean? They say complicated concepts need to be expressed through metaphors and the like so people can understand them more easily. For instance, could you use a simple comparison to express the core of your research? It's like teaching a plant to feed off something other than sunlight? I think that works very well. Can you elaborate? Try and imagine if a plant could take in different forms of energy, like a human being, and not rely solely on sunlight. Example, imagine if it could absorb from radiation, then convert the harmful components into nutrients for its own growth. Her eyes begin to lighten up, and she grows more and more animated. She begins gesticulating and describing just how her research could change the biosphere and contamination zones. That was excellent. I'm sure you would captivate the audience if you talked like that on stage. Really? You're not just being polite? My speech is saved? Of course not. Actually, I'm quite interested in your research direction. You know about my research? Your focus on botany is something I've always been following and reporting on. Among them, the use of plants for two-phase collapsed particle absorption is of particular interest to me. He's actually being genuine there, which is funny. Not that she knows it, but I can't believe there's a journalist out there who's actually interested in my research. I mean, it's probably because I'm not a journalist. Responsible science. As a responsible scientist, it pleases me to see that the media is showing interest in proper scientific studies. Nah, I just live in the yellow zone, and this would be great stuff, if you could get it to work. I am honored to meet with your approval. In fact, my interest goes beyond mere theory. I've actually seen plants like the kind you've been studying. What? You've seen them? Let me guess, they're mutant plants which look like Aphelios, right? How did you know? You didn't sneak into our research base before, did you? What research bases? Said plants should only exist in our labs and our lab plots. We keep them strictly secluded from the outside world. Orphelium begins muttering to herself, and it seems like she's realized something. Hang on. You're not kind of some industrial spies sent by a rival to steal my research, are you? I remember my assistants once said that while I have no way to prove this, my ID and the invitation for your company vouch my identity as part of the media. That ease your suspicions a little bit? Doesn't seem to be fake. Orphelium pouts as she studies my ID. Just as the mood in the air begins to turn strange, I hear a contralto voice from the balcony entrance. So that's where you are, young mistress. I've been searching for you for a long time. Oh, that's scary. She knows who I am. I turn to look and see a tall, dignified woman who's shown up there at some point. She's impeccably dressed, but her gaze is razor sharp. She found me! Orphelion shudders, looking for all the world like a child caught with her hand in a cookie jar. Igla, I just came to get some fresh air. We still have 3 hours until the sun begins. How goes your preparations? They're almost done. Just confirming some of the details. The doll called Igla sighs in exasperation and gives Orphelion a doting look. Then she bends down and helps pick up her drop papers. It seems you have encountered some difficulty. Do you need my assistance? Not at all. I can handle it all by myself. Naturally, your capabilities are beyond question. Though I should mention, your makeup artist and stylist have been waiting in your suite for some time now. Igla reaches out to straighten Orphelion's rumpled collar. And that lab coat is by no means suitable for tonight's event. I have selected a more suitable evening dress for you. But those dresses are so pinchy. Surely enduring a little discomfort is necessary for the glory of the Drawer family. Don't you agree? As she says this, Igla's gaze briefly sweeps over me, a hint of warning and displeasure in it. Greetings. Thank you for keeping the young mistress company. If you don't mind, I must take her to begin the final preparations for the summit. Certainly, by all means. It's been an honor to speak with Miss Orphelion. She politely extracts a name card from her breast pocket and hands it to me. If you have professional interest in the young mistress' work, you're welcome to join the special conference session tomorrow. Of course, a reservation will be required. Her tone is cool and polite, but the judgment and caution are evident in her gaze. Oh yeah, what's your name anyways? I'm the editor-in-chief of the Shining Age Media CHC. You've already seen my ID, haven't you? Oh yeah, I was just looking at this stamp. Will you come listen to my presentation? Young mistress, we don't have much time left. If you have any questions, you can bring them up then. I'll try to answer them sincerely. Igla guides Orphelion away, but the latter looks back, clearly excited. Igla follows Orphelion's gaze. Her voice is gentle, but the warning in her tone becomes more and more evident as she speaks. I hope you will enjoy this summit this evening. At the same time, I hope you'll keep your position and duties in mind. Overstepping your bounds only leads to unnecessary troubles. Honestly, you don't have to keep scaring people all the time. My apologies, mistress. The two of them vanished through the balcony entrance. I'm still standing there, feeling the weight of the information in that brief exchange. Orphelion is far more innocent and defenseless than my data suggests. Of course, that could all just be an act. Meanwhile, Igla, the Gerard Group's strongest doll. She probably doesn't know who I am, but she's clearly repulsed by how I approached Orphelion. From the Gerard Group's file I saw and the combat footage Leva showed me, I conclude that this third-gen doll is very likely to be our trickiest foe yet. Seeing as how understaffed we are at the moment, I'd be best not to arouse your suspicion. For now. I studied the card Igla left me. In addition to the usual content information, a line of small letters. Science runs on curiosity, but danger often begins there too. Citrinitus of refinement. The third step lies in extracting the treasure known as the truth. There's still some time until the presentation begins, and there doesn't seem to be any more news worth overhearing. What time is it, by the way? Can I still get dinner? Yeah. The dolls and I return to our room to plan our next move. My conversation with Orphelion just now has given me a basic impression of her. While the pressure of that third-gen doll has given me serious doubts about her upcoming mission, being guarded by such a powerful doll at all but confirms Orphelion's standing as heir. Yet her reaction and way of speaking raises some doubts of me. She seems to have total faith in what she's studying. It makes me think she genuinely believes she's doing good things. But Paradius is involved. I don't smell the stench of Paradius's lies and evil coming from her. Instead, she feels too innocent. At the moment, it's difficult for me to tell if she's being genuine or if it's just an elaborate act. It seems I'll need to find a way to make further contact with her. The sound of footsteps come from outside her suite as I ponder my encounter from just now. A series of knocks on the door. Groza gets up to open it. Sorry to bother you, sir. It's alright. What is it? The staffer holds up a tote bag in his hands. Velvety silk material finely made and features the logo of the summit. As a token of gratitude for coming all the way here, the organizer would like to present you with a souvenir. A souvenir? Yes, contains the Draw Group's latest products and local delicacies from Lviv. You can bring them home to share with your family members. Thank you very much. I gesture to Groza to take the bag. After seeing us bring it inside, the staffer nods, smiles while executing a bow before turning to leave. Once the sound of footsteps outside the door fade away, I shoot Groza a look. Open it up and see what's inside. Inspection. Yes, sir. Groza cautiously opens up the bag. Just as the staffer said, contains exquisite gift box. The first layer contains many pretty-looking desserts. Second has the latest smart device from the Drawer Group's notably subsidiary brand. Released just last month. Notable. Groza and Kofni inspect the gift box and even take apart the smart device, but they don't find anything suspicious. Is it really just an ordinary welcome gift? Commander, I seem to be something else inside the bag. The bag was tossed aside after contents were extracted. Currently, it lies in a limp heap at the corner of the dresser. Or at least, it should be limp, without anything inside to support it. Yet there's a little bulge under its velvety surface. Check it out. Groza picks up the bag and inverts it, but nothing falls out. Turns it inside out, feels around the side of the bulge. Secret lining. I take it from her and feel around the place Groza indicated. Sure enough, something hidden inside, clearly. Someone cut it open, sewed it back together. I rip the seam open and take out the object inside the bag's lining. A little box with the work ID reading Special Invitation. Some kind of new listening device? Let's have a look. I hand the device to Groza, fiddles with it for a moment but doesn't seem to find any issues. Then she takes a small slip of paper out from behind the ID. This device can help you solve all the problems before you, so make good use of it, okay? Commander, do you have a contact inside Drawer Group? Not that I remember. Could it be, DeFi's person, maybe? Or could this be help from Numpha? If it was them, why wouldn't they give it to us before we came here? It's gotta be like the person from DeFi that they referenced in part 1. That makes sense too. Should we ask them about it? I nod and Leo picks up my call shortly afterwards. I tell her about the work ID. Oh, you know we wouldn't go out of our way to deliver unexpected gifts to you? After all, you've already got all the information you possess. As for that card... She pauses. I received some wordless assistance in a similar manner earlier, but given our position, we're in no place to talk about it right now. Perhaps you should make your own decision on how to handle this token of goodwill? Token of goodwill, you say? After hanging up, I inspect the ID again. The card is very well made, but there's nothing special about it. I sense that this card is definitely going to come in handy, so I tuck it away into my pocket and wait for the presentation to begin. 20 minutes before the summit. It's dress-up room. Young mistress, you will be the last to go on stage afterwards. My window open? What's happening here? Oh, it is. Let's close this. Throat was starting to feel weird. I think my room got a little too cold and I'm talking too much for that. Young mistress, you'll be the last to go on stage afterwards. After taking the length of your script into consideration, we've saved 30 minutes for you to give your presentation. If anything happens, signal to me and I'll take care of it right away. The presentation script has already been uploaded to our internal server. Once your segment begins, just hit play on the remote control there to bring it up. Everything else is in order. Do you have any other adjustments you wish to make? Not at all. A simple little presentation like this and nothing for the great Ophidian. What an interesting dress. Ophidian plants her hands on her waist and proudly raises her chin. She has a confident smile on her face, but a keen observer would note that her hands are trembling, and a faint sheen of perspiration on her forehead. Of course, your ability is beyond question, young mistress. However, your handkerchief seems a little wrinkled. You're grabbing it too hard. Igla takes an elaborately stitched handkerchief out of her pocket and lightly dabs away the moisture on Orphelian's forehead. Takes out a mirror from pouch and starts smooshing out the straps of Orphelian's dress. Say, Igla, is my hair messy? I mean, how could someone like myself take the stage in a less than perfect stage? Your hair is flawless, but I will make some minor adjustments as you wish. Igla's hands move with a sculptor's touch, as if she's working with a soap bubble that might vanish at a breath. The look in her eyes isn't a mere professional diligence, but something closer to religious reverence. I shall declare my findings to the world today. I will have everyone bend to the knee to the glory of the Gerard family. I'm sure you will, young mistress. You'll keep me company until I go on stage. Won't you, Igla? It's not like I need you with me, but I just want to make sure that the plans go smoothly. I will always be by your side, no matter when or where I'm needed, both a duty and an honor. Speaking of which, where did you go just now? You kept me waiting for so long. Granted, I did sneak off while you weren't around, but it's quite unusual for you to be late for an occasion like this. My sincerest apologies, young mistress. I was handling some issues which might have interrupted your presentation. Certain uninvited guests seemed overly interested in your research. I had to ensure they would not interrupt your crucial moments. More of those people again? Thanks for your hard work, as always. It must be those lowlives who are trying to steal my work again. Still, it doesn't matter. I'll be making the results public anyways, so they can turn green with envy for all I care. Indeed, they will, young mistress. Your accomplishments shall shake the world. Thanks to Igla's soothing words, Ophelian's tension is completely drained away. Just as she's about to continue preening, an unexpected visitor interrupts her. If it isn't my dear little Ophine, what a bright shining star you've become. A distinguished gentleman in a dapper suit strides into the room, a warm and affable smile on his face. Uncle Zimmerman! Greetings, Mr. Zimmerman, the master planner behind several events of the previous chapter. Igla's face is perfectly composed, but her body shifts almost imperceptibly in order to put herself between Orphelian and the newcomer. Miss Igla, I see you're vigilant as ever, even when meeting with an old friend. I mean, your dad asked me just to focus on my research. What a shame. To think that Rurik is doing such immoral things behind the group's back. Things must be hard for you too, aren't they? I heard the stock price of several Gerard Group subsidiaries plummeted after his deeds were made public. If there's anything I can help with, Oleg should be feel free to ask. After all, the fortunes of Czech Fabin and Gerard have always been linked. With Czech Fabin being the sponsor in the background. As your uncle, I will never turn a blind eye to your plight. The Gerard Group deeply appreciates your concern. steps in front of her. However, the draw group has a long history and ample reserves. These temporary difficulties will not shake our foundations. We don't need your help. Please get out of here. The results of the young mistress's research will prove the Gerard family's wisdom and foresight. Oh, will they now? That only makes me more interested in tonight's presentation then. Zimmerman's gaze shifts between Igla and Orphilion, a subtle smile on his face. I've heard that your Project Eden has been progressing very well. Does this mean you'll be able to release the results of the first stage of the world soon? Of course. We've made a huge breakthrough in our research, which Paredes is going to steal, if they didn't already. Tonight's presentation is going to leave everyone in awe. Marvelous. Not only will your announcement stabilize the Gerard Group's shares price, it will also bolster faith in Gerard within the conglomerate. Little Orphilion has managed to stand on her own 2 feet in the blink of an eye. Who would have expected that? I'm not really interested in the Gerard Group's matters. I'm just interested in my research. But I can apply my time and energy to my research. I'll help my dad this way. Dad and the group. As earnest as ever, little Orphilion. Still, no matter how you spin it, you're going to be the future heiress of the Gerard Group. It's best you understand certain things sooner rather than later. For example, your research has drawn a great deal of attention within the conglomerate. Some people even believe it might affect the entire conglomerate's future. The young mistress's research is entirely driven by scientific objectives, not subject to interference from any corporate or political factors. Of course, of course. The purity of science must be respected and turned into profit eventually. However, the purest things are often the most fragile. You should know that better than anyone else, Miss Igla. And that is why they must be protected. A most interesting perspective. However, such protection requires strength and resources to do. Given the current state of the Gerard Group, it may have a very hard time guaranteeing an ample supply of both. Sir, if you're hinting at something, then I must ask you to take my position clear. My duty is to serve Gerard family, and in particular the young mistress. That will not change regardless of any outside elements. Loyalty is a virtue, but wisdom is rarer and more valuable. Miss Igla, I trust that with your skills and your vision, you can see where the wind is blowing. Uncle Zimmerman! Orphilion forcefully interrupts the subtle confrontation. While I might not know much about the business side of things, please don't treat me like a complete dummy. I am still Gerard's daughter, and even some like me will do our best to keep the Gerard Group going. So please stop saying weird things that sound like you're trying to poach Igla away. Don't you have 3rd-gen dolls too, Uncle? Igla is... she's my assistant. Without Igla, there'd be many things that Orphilion suddenly cuts herself off as though she's realized she said too much. She raises her chin again and throws up her facade of pride. In any case, Igla's my doll. I won't let anyone take her away from me. Not even you, Uncle. I will be preparing for my presentation right now, so please don't disturb me any further. Zimmerman seems to have anticipated Orphelion's reaction and laughs nonchalantly. Indeed. Only someone dedicated as yourself could have obtained your achievements at such a young age, my dearly Orphilion. In any case, I won't disturb you any further. Best of luck with your presentation. I'll be applauding you from the audience. As Orphilion turns to head back to her dresser, Zimmerman suddenly addresses Igla, who's not yet departed, in a quiet voice. The storm is upon us. Even the most loyal guardian will find herself unable to render her aid. When the time comes, I hope you'll choose wisely. Choose wisely, dear doll. Thank you for your concern, sir. But my choice will ever be the same. Igla's voice is warm and deferential, but her gaze is sharp and razor as ice. Now then, I must assist the young mistress in her preparations. I hope you will enjoy a thrilling presentation tonight. After I finish assigning surveillance positions to the dolls in the lounge, I check my watch. It seems like it's about time. The summit is already halfway through by the time I exit the lounge and reach the conference center. One botanical researcher after another takes the stage to scattered, then swelling applause. Yay! People are gathering in front of the lectern, occasionally exchanging a few words. I signal to Groves and Kolfney, then silently blend into the crowd. Thank you for a thrilling presentation, Mr. Thales. Now, let's welcome the researcher who stands at the cutting edge of botanical research, the leader of Project Eden, Miss Orphelian Gerard. She will be sharing the details of the much-anticipated Project Eden with everyone and taking questions on any potential issues that might arise. After a round of applause, Orphelian gracefully takes the stage. Perhaps it's because I only just saw another side of her this afternoon, but the Orphelian who has just revealed herself takes me by surprise. She wears an exquisitely made haute couture evening gown. Her golden blonde hair neatly styled, exuding elegance and class with every move she makes. She's nothing like the coltish girl I saw on the balcony this afternoon. With a slight raise of her chin, she regards the entire audience with a look that could almost be considered arrogance, then bends into a graceful bow before beginning to speak. Ladies and gentlemen, guests and scholars, I stand before you today not just a biologist, but also an explorer of a future filled with hope. Right now, we stand at the cusp of an unexpected era, a nexus where technology crosses paths with nature. And at this nexus point, plants, these silent green sanctifiers of the natural world, prepare to reveal a shocking secret to us. First, let's consider a problem. Whether specially filtered plants can effectively absorb and process ambient radiation. It's just like the script from earlier. Orphelian as the undisputed center of the venue's attention. The researchers, businessmen, journalists, everyone listening intently, looking forward to how her words will change the world. Radioactive particle absorption through large-scale planting, improving purification zone efficiency at a lower cost. Those grand declarations do sound very promising, but all these are definitely not the true aim of Project Eden. That said, what is its true aim? All the research she's mentioned so far sounds a lot like the operating principles of collapsed aphelions. Could it have something to do with Paradia's upcoming moves? Are the Draw Group's attempts to kidnap Helena part of Project Eden too? I suddenly realized that I simply have too few clues of what's actually going on. Even if Numpha and I managed to find a few traces of it, I'm still clueless about the Gerard Group's upcoming plans. Orphelian continues her presentation beneath the spotlight. The audience's interest is steadily rising as she continues, and everyone's eagerly looking at the young scholar before them. We've always feared making changes to the contamination zones. Owing to prohibitive costs, we've been unable to bring hope to the people there. However, improvements in technology have greatly bolstered our confidence in resisting collapse radiation. This gives us a controllable, inexpensive, and ordered way of gradually reclaiming living space for mankind. We shall learn from the old and wise life forms known as plants and make a safer, cleaner future. And in order to satisfy everyone's expectations, I wish to announce the first phase of Project Eden, helmed by myself, begin in 2 days. When the time comes, all of these will bear witness to the startling changes this project will begin to bring. That's all I have for you today. Thank you, everyone. Current affairs reporter. May I ask a question? You just said the project would begin in 2 days. Can we... Yep. You just said that the project will begin in 2 days. Can we interpret that as... What impact do you think Protein will have on the Gerard Group's share price trends? As the journalists begin surging forward, the previously serene venue boils over in an instant. I approach the lectern in the company of my peers and notice that Orphelion, who was about to leave, has an annoyed look on her face. She gestures to Eaglet, who's standing beside her. Fortunately, the host manages to hold off the throng of journalists. The interview with Mr. Felius will take place inside Block B in half an hour. We would like to remind everyone with a special invitation to proceed there on time. Thank you for your cooperation. After Orphelion leaves, I hear a ripple of dissent from around me. I knew it. Same as before. Only people with connections can enter the interview area. It's always like this. A huge scoop just out of reach. Truly is the darkest hour of my journalist career. I'm going back. I still have to write my article of what little we have. If I finish up before midnight, I might be able to make the front page in the morning edition. The journalists around me begin to disperse as their interest ebbs. Once things around me settle down, I have to head to a corner and take out the work ID labeled Special Invitation. Is that what it's meant for? While the scary third-gen dolls already warned me about this, it seems I'll have to disregard her advice. If Project Eden is really going to begin in 2 days, like Exilium said, I need to figure out exactly what that project's about within these 2 days. Currently, my situation's like being adrift in a boundless ocean, so I need to seize on anything I can find, even if it's just a little plank of driftwood. After briefly considering my next moves, I share my thoughts with the dolls, so they're ready to act at any time. Then I grip the work ID in my hand and walk towards the building at the end of the corridor. Greetings, reception area for members of the press. Please wait here. To my surprise, I actually managed to use this dubious work ID to get in the specially designated interview area. Although the press conference hasn't begun yet, I can tell that I'm the only one who doesn't belong here. All the journalists here seem to know each other, sitting at prearranged seats and whispering to each other. First time? I turn around and realize the other guy is speaking to me. Yep. Relax. It's all good. We're all just supporting case for Orphelion's performance. Supporting cast. Yeah, if you say so. So, bought your shares yet? What? Yeah, shares. Don't tell me you didn't invest at all. Chances to make big bucks like this don't come by every day. Once this press conference ends, the stock price of the Gerard Group and related sectors are going to the moon. Green candles to the moon. By wheeling their young mistress out at a time like this, Gerard clearly aims to win back the industrial rep and sway public opinion back onto their side. My guess is that everyone's questions today are going to be related to the vaccine incident from earlier and about their doll technology. That way, the group will get maximum benefits from the Orphelion brand? So you do get it. What do you do for a living anyways? I'm a journalist. No shit, an actual journalist? Not just an investor? Well, that's rare. Looks like the Gerard public image really does need a little tidying up. Better keep your occupational habits in check later on and don't say anything you should. You shouldn't? Okay, just want to check something else off. After all, I'm betting everything I own on today's outcome. Pats me on the shoulder and returns to his seat. As the press conference draws closer, my surroundings gradually quiet down. Orphelium shows up on time, however, a hint of distaste on her face compared to how she looked at her presentation just now. This isn't about her research, it's about the Gerard Group. While she retains the same haughty attitude, her gaze keeps sweeping the audience as though she's looking for something. Eaglet stands faithfully by her side with prim and alert expression on her own face. After the host announced at the beginning of the conference, the journalists, quotation, around me all raise their hands. Their questions are all meticulously crafted, just like what that man from before said. Pre-arranged questions. Each syllable from Raphelian's lips will move the market needles, influencing the position of the Gerard Group and the industry and the market. But what of Raphelian herself? Did she memorize an utterly boring script before the press conference started? Just like she was doing on the rooftop balcony this afternoon? Rehearsing the answers to potential questions and potential investors? And what about me? Someone gave me this ID. What do they want me to find? Or rather, what do they want me to change? What question am I here to ask? Does anyone else have any other questions? Raphelian stands to one side. She seems relieved. Meanwhile, her eyes are still sweeping the venue, searching for something. Nobody else is raising their hand. If there's nothing else, time for me to interrupt. A moment, please. Everyone turns to look at me in surprise. Right as she's about to leave, Raphelian stops and turns to look at me, a hint of surprise crossing her eyes. You, the journalist from earlier? At the balcony? Yes, Raphelian, may I ask you a question? Raphelian ignores the host's attempts to stop her and takes a few steps forward. Igla immediately tenses up, but Raphelian gestures her to relax. You're here to ruin things. Of course, I'd be glad to answer your question. Earlier today, I conducted a simple interview with you. During that interview, I mentioned seeing a plant very similar to the kinds being studied in your research. The truth is, the plant I'm talking about did not come from your leave of test plots. These plants were discovered in large quantities in the contamination zone and then artificially cultured. The name of this plant is Corposant. These plants have the ability to absorb and release collapse particles and have been sighted in the red zones. However, the existence of Corposant seems to have been deliberately concealed by someone. I haven't been able to learn about them from the URNC authorities or the Gerard Group's publicly available literature. But after hearing your presentation, I noticed a lot of similarities between the two. How do you know so much about them? What I'd like to know is, are these Corposant linked to the plants you're studying? Was Project Eden founded on this technology? As I ask my question, the host is already speaking into the walkie-talkie in his hands. Shortly afterwards, several Gerard Group security personnel enter the room, swiftly approaching my position. Dear guests, please refrain from asking questions beyond the boundary of interview topics. Doing so is a violation of media regulations. Raphelian's hands tighten around the microphone she's holding, seemingly hesitating. Her gaze is wavering, and she occasionally glances at Igla, who's standing beside her. Meanwhile, I ignore the host's attempt to stop me and continue addressing Raphelian. Yes, Raphelian, I'm genuinely interested in your research. I know you have a unique understanding of the ways in which plants can change the environment. Do you not wish to allow the people of the world to know the true nature of your research? Do you not wish to conduct a true interview? Don't you want someone to truly understand you, admire your scientific accomplishments, instead of merely treating you as a mascot for the Gerard Group? Don't you want to be acknowledged as a scientist, and not just a potential investor? The summoned security guards have already reached me. I know that if Raphelian does not wish to proceed further, the mission would be complete failure. There's probably no better opportunity to approach a scientist as heavily protected as her than today. A hulking guard gestures for me to leave. I'm not exactly thrilled to be going, but this isn't a good place to get violent either. All I can do is follow the guards and prepare to depart. Wait. She wants to be acknowledged for her actual work. Her focus of study. Several long seconds later, Raphelian holds out a hand to stop the guards. Her eyes are shining, and she has a stubborn look on her face. So she generally is just like sort of innocent and doesn't know what Paredes is doing with her stuff. She descends from the stage and runs over to me. You. Are you really interested in my research? Do you truly wish to understand the science and not just the effect on the group's stock price and market reactions? Yes, I'm quite curious about your studies. I'd like to know the real Raphelian Gerard, not just the label of a genius scientist given to the masses. I feel like also Commander probably does feel that way to some degree, since he lives in the yellow and red zone, if she's actually making truly useful stuff, even though he hates Gerard Group. he can help the people out there reduce collapse radiation. I knew you were different from those other rebel. Those fake interviewers. Young mistress. Igla follows closely behind Ophelia and whispers into her ear. After realizing her fox paws, Ophelia quickly resumes her previous attitude of the heiress. I thank you for coming, everyone. Let's call it a night. Before the host can continue, Ophelia grabs me by the sleeves and drags me backstage. After going behind the curtains, Ophelia warily glances outside, ensuring that we will not be interrupted. She continues speaking to me in an excited voice. You actually know about the operating principles of the collapsed Exilium? Hardly anyone in my lab understands it. Surely you can guess what I'm trying to do, right? Imagine radiation glowing flowers spread around the world, just protecting you. Every garden, every plane, and they're there to actually help you. But they're these glowing radiation flowers, that'd be insane. Hang on, let's not talk about it here. I'm not ready for it yet. Let me think. How about this? I shall graciously answer your questions, but not here in front of the hoi polloi. I don't know what that phrase means. Hoi polloi. Meaning the masses, the common people. Oh. How?
Hoi polloi.
Hoi polloi. Oh, I have heard that actually.
Hoi polloi.
Okay, I have heard that. I just read it wrong. Hoi polloi is why it's okay. Instead, I shall grant you a special interview tomorrow. As for the location, how about my lab? At that time, you'll be able to ask all the questions you wish to be answered. However, do not disappoint me. You must convey my greatness to the world and let everyone know my research doesn't exist to inflate stock prices. I won a Nobel Peace Prize, essentially. Or Nobel Prize of Physics. Thank you, Miss Ophelian. I won't waste the chance you've given me so graciously. Ophelian raises her chin proudly, but she can't keep the corner of her mouth from turning up. She turns to whisper something in Igla's ears. Igla's expression immediately turns complex, but in the end, she nods respectfully. Then Igla turns and addresses me in an extremely polite tone. This is the contact information for our PR director. Please speak with him. He will inform you of the specific arrangements for tomorrow. Igla decorously hands me a card. I nod to her in gratitude as I receive it. Ophelian waves to me with a satisfied look on her face, then turns to leave. Igla follows behind her, but before she goes... glares at you, gives you a warning shot. Rubido of Awakening. The fourth step is when the final rebirth and unification is attained. Or is it? Dun, 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 dun. I still feel like I'm just some kind of Italian mobster music or something. The next day. Chief, we're here. After stepping out of the limo that the drawer group arranged for us, we find ourselves in front of a white office building. It's inside a science park on the outskirts of Lviv, and it stands out by being the sole towering structure in the vast park area. So this is the place. Looks plainer than I imagined it to be. There's no way anyone could tell they're conducting the experience here. Compared to its surroundings, the research chief Prod Eden feels like paradise. How's that for an opener? Isn't it romantic? It's not like we're actually here to write an article. Too bad, because you got her so excited. You need to really immerse yourself in your character, so you don't give yourself away. Hey, look at the time. We set out early to avoid any complications. And so the time right now is 9:40 a.m., 20 minutes from the appointed interview. We still have some time before the interview. Just head in. Coming early to a meeting is a way of showing respect. It would be best to leave her with a good impression of us. Alright, let's go. I have the dolls grab the equipment, then we enter the office building. Greetings, please present your proof of appointment. We're scheduled for an interview with Miss Ophelian at 10 a.m. That's an interesting room. That's a weird plant. The staffer looks at the Piper and grows his hands and carefully checks it in the system. You're here from the Shining Age Media Agency with an appointment for an interview. Expected number of visitors is 1 human accompanied by 2 dolls. Everything checks out. Please come in. The staffer opens the barrier gate of the entrance. Please wait in the reception area with your companions. Someone will come to receive you shortly. Alright, thank you very much. I lead the dolls to the designated reception area. We take our seats. The inside of the lab is a lot livelier than its exterior would imply. In addition to busy researchers, each floor has its own assistant which keep the lab running in an orderly manner. Looks like this place is bigger than I imagined. Oh, after coming to Lviv, my neurocloud is being blown on a daily basis. I can't believe they have such big and fancy labs here. For some reason, it seems so proper, it feels weird to me instead. There wasn't any even a security check at the entrance. The people inside are coming and going without any restrictions. I look at the floor plan in the reception area. It says the building has 3 floors with 4 rooms in each. According to the floor plan, the first floor contains the main lounge, various public facilities. Second floor has the lab area and sample storage, while the entire third floor is an office space for Ophelian. Group 2 is monitoring the lab from the outside, reporting the 2 large structures on the roof that don't show up on the floor plan. Their exact purpose is unknown so far. Large structures. Large structures. Don't tell me they're the same kind of equipment we saw at the Paradius lab. We can't be certain yet. We'll find out if we get to check them out later. Halfway through our observation of the building, a certain someone descends from the floor above. Welcome, guests from the Shining Agency. A pleasure to meet you, Miss Igla. Igla dips her head in a polite nod, but the wariness in her eyes does not diminish in the least. Clearly, my stunt with Ophelian at the press conference last night has put her on guard. Again. The anticipation which the young mistress holds for your arrival is quite an unusual thing. Igla's tone is polite and restrained, but the hint of warning in her voice is plainly evident. Carrying a large box, and I wonder if it contains some sort of powerful weapon. The dolls notice as well and carefully study every move Igla makes, ready for battle at any moment. However, Igla seems completely uninterested in the actions of my assistants. Glances them briefly, then walks right up to me. You are 20 minutes early. Yeah, the interview is very important for my firms, so I didn't want to be late. Only someone with a lack of precise planning in their life would allocate excessive time in their scheduling to avoid lateness. Lack of excessive planning. A lack of precise planning in their life would allocate excessive time scheduling to avoid lateness. Your senior assistants need more professional training. You need to always show up exactly on time, right when needed. Be like Gandalf. A wizard arrives exactly when needed. Don't you think a lot of time in your life is wasted on being early? No, I don't think that way. Igla's gaze sweeps casually over Groza and settles on my face. My apologies. Mr. Ophelian's time is strictly planned and managed under my care. Even a minute's deviation will cause a major disruption to her schedule. As a result, I find myself unconsciously judging others by my standard of perfection. That said, Miss Ophelian's time is rigorously managed. She is currently having breakfast and does not wish to be disturbed. Therefore, the interview will take place at 10 o'clock sharp. Acceptable? Of course. We're here so we're not late. It's all good. Igla seems very pleased with my response. She gestures for me to follow her. Please allow me to take you to a tour of this facility. Before the interview, provide you background material for your article. As you can see, the first floor of the public reception area is typically used for external matters. Normally, interviews with Miss Ophelia and the other researchers will be conducted here. The public reception area. However, you are a special guest of the young mistress, so she specifically insisted that I bring you to her office for the interview. Oh, someone's texting me. What's this? Oh, that's work. Not related to me. All good. I'm most grateful for Mr. Felian's hospitality. Frankly speaking, I've never seen Mr. Felian as excited about an interview at this time. Could you tell me just how you managed to pique her interest? Well, I saved her from falling off a cliff, and then, you know, I just treated her like a researcher and not an investor. I'm not sure how I did it. However, I believe it's been a long time she was treated as a proper scientist. Oh, and then the realization hits her. I sense a hit of caution in her eyes. While her demeanor is flawless, her wariness of me is not faded in the least. Igla brings us to the second floor in silence. Along the way, she tells us that this floor is the core research area of this facility and features independent identity verification systems. Only visitors who received Ophelian's approval are allowed to enter. The biosafety labs within are performing the core research tasks for Project Eden, and they have been the subject of much interest from competitors ever since the project began. However, between the lab security systems and my own protection, none of these spies and thieves have managed to get their way. Igla gives me a meaningful look. I turn to look in the direction Igla is pointing at in feigned innocence. And now, we will proceed to Mr. Felian's work area. We climbed to the broad staircase and arrived at the third floor. I checked the time, 10 o'clock exactly. Igla verifies our identities in front of the big glass door, which then slides open. This is an interesting looking room, too. The sound of something shattering comes from inside, followed by a panicked yelp. Ah! Help me, stupid thing isn't cooperating. Appearance ruins. We rush in and find Ophelian standing in front of a complex-looking device. The interior of the room is a mess, and the floor is covered in glass shards and a toppled test tube rack. Young mistress. Igla rushes forward and swiftly clears up the mess on the ground. Her movements are fast and precise, as though she's long used to such scenarios. I've heard dropping vials all over the place and breaking glass. I was only gone for 10 minutes. Were you trying to operate the equipment by yourself? I was simply trying to display the latest research data. But then this wretched machine refused to obey me. Those clowns from R&D must have messed up the calibration parameters again. Ophelian turns to look at us, and her expression immediately turns to stone. Her long blonde hair is a mess, her lab coat buttons are fastened incorrectly. She looks nothing like the noble, poised scientific genius described in her file. Oh shit. Ophelian quickly stumbled a few steps back and almost trips on the shards on the ground. Fortunately, Igla reacts swiftly and catches her. You weren't supposed to come at 10. Why didn't you inform me beforehand? Weren't you scheduled for 10 o'clock? Young mistress, it is 10 o'clock right now. As a researcher, you got lost in time again, doing your stuff. But, what? Ophelian's eyes snap to the clock on the wall, and her expression goes from surprise to frustration, before quickly shifting to deliberate haughtiness. No matter. I shall magnanimously forgive you reckless intrusion. Circumstances like this are nothing to me. She quickly sorts out her clothing, straightens up, and tries to regain a sense of dignity. But her lab coat is still rumpled and misbuttoned. Young mistress, please allow me to assist you, to make you presentable. Igla produces a new lab coat and a kit bag from her big box she was carrying around, and begins Ophelian a high-speed makeover. Ophelian immediately stands still and lets Igla fuss over her like a mother hen with a chick. Hurry, Igla. Don't keep our guests waiting. Yes, young mistress. Igla's movements are swift and practiced. In less than a minute, Ophelian looks good as new. That's more like it. Once again, Igla begins picking up the scattered lab equipment and documents. Every move she makes looks like it's been precisely calculated to not waste the slightest time or energy. Ophelian clears her throat, then turns to me, her face a mask of deliberate pride and confidence. Welcome to my lab. I am Raphelian Gerard, one of the greatest botanists in the world. What an honor it must be for you to personally be personally received by yours truly. Pardon the intrusion, Miss Raphelian. We are indeed honored by your presence. Very good. It seems you have some manners. Nothing like those journalists and their boring, preordained questions. Raphelian looks me up and down, her gaze both curious and judgmental. Yesterday, our conversation on the rooftop balcony was interrupted by Igla. I was wondering, why do you understand my research so well? Most students can't even pronounce basic botanical terms. Young mistress, this gentleman is the editor-in-chief of the Shining Age news agency. Surely he must have a wealth of interview experience and a broad knowledge base. I knew that. You didn't have to remind me. Igla seems used to Raphelian's little flare-ups. She simply nods and continues restoring order to the chaos on the floor. Now that you're here, where to begin? Igla usually arranges a really boring itinerary for events like these, like having to take pictures, answer questions, that sort of stuff. Start by taking pictures? I give Coultney a look. She quickly moves in front of Raphelian and raises her camera. A moment. Upon seeing Coultney point her camera shutter at Raphelian, Igla hurries over to touch up Raphelian's looks once again. Helps properly fasten her lab coat and then discreetly steps out of the frame. Please allow me to examine the photographs after you're done taking them. I must ensure all images published by media depict the best side of young Mistress Raphelian. Honestly, you don't have to be so wound up about it. I look perfectly from every angle. Actually, showing a side of Miss Raphelian that contrasts her usual dignified person could win more public goodwill. You don't need to always be for the investors, you can be for the general public too. Just saying. Since Raphelian is typically presented as part of the corporate elite, why not try to show a more down-to-earth side? That sounds great! Do you hear that, Igla? Such an attempt might incur risks to the Draugur's public image. After seeing the dejected look on Raphelian's face, Igla quickly adds on her previous statement. But since it's your wish, young mistress, perhaps I give it a try, see how it goes. With their permission, Coultney does as I said and takes several pictures of Raphelian. After the shoot, Igla examines the contents of Coultney's camera as I agreed. Raphelian takes advantage of her distraction to suddenly approach me. Oh right, I heard you came by my lab early today for today's interview? Yeah, I hope this shows my sincerity regarding the interview. Yep, your performance at yesterday's press conference was very good. It isn't often I'm looking forward to an interview like I am now. Would you like some coffee? I'll make it for you myself. Young mistress, that might not be appropriate. Igla, I can do it myself. You're always treating me like a kid. Then I shall graciously accept your offer. You okay with that? Why wouldn't it be? My colleagues usually come up with some excuse and try to refuse. They're afraid of getting in trouble for accepting coffee? Or maybe accepting favors from her at all? Probably... it's probably a society thing where just ultra wealthy, almost the princess, you can't be accepting mundane things from them, I guess. I don't know. That's gotta be something along those lines. Raphelian seems surprised I said yes. For some reason, it makes me panic a little. I hope you don't mind me asking, but do you really even know how to use a coffee machine? Of course I do. Igla taught me how to make coffee many times. Granted, I might have forgotten a step or 10, but it's no big deal. Raphelian confidently heads over to the drinks counter, and Igla's expression grows tense. However, she merely keeps her distance. It seems she wants to see if Raphelian can really actually pull this task off on her own. Apparently, she can't take care of herself besides, you know, the research itself. Day-to-day tasks, forgotten. What would you like? Lattes are my specialty. I'll have a latte then. Thank you very much. Raphelian nods, then heads over to the fridge before taking out a carton of milk and dumping it in the coffee machine. Mr. Raphelian, that's the bean grinder. I forgot again. Oh no. So the coffee beans go in there, right? Can't those dorks in R&D make it more obvious? I doubt their R&D division built this coffee machine. Did they? Alright, I've got it this time. After carefully pondering the situation, Ophelia finally manages to add the milk to the right compartment. Right after that, she engages the grinder. After some humming, coffee powder sprays out of the nozzle. I got this step right. Didn't I? Yeah, you're doing well. Alright. Next. Just as Ophelia's about to put the ground coffee under the temper, the coffee machine suddenly starts up without any warning, spraying ground coffee powder everywhere. Most of it ends up on Ophelia's brand new lab coat. After seeing Ophelia's predicament, Igla sighs, but her eyes are filled with doting kindness. She quickly steps up to take the various implements from Ophelia's hands. Young mistress, perhaps you'd allow me to help. Your lab coat is dirty once again and needs to be changed. I tried and failed. A look of defeat and shame crosses Ophelia's face for a moment, but it soon transforms into one of stubborn pride. My hand has slipped. Small things like this are hardly worth mentioning. Of course, young mistress. One moment, please. I'll get you a new lab coat for you. Ophelia seems used to Igla's pampering and silently accepts this arrangement. Igla takes yet another lab coat out of her huge box. That's what the box is. I can't. Out of the corner of my eyes, I noticed that the box, which seems to have originally been intended to transport weapons, is instead filled with various articles of folded clothing. Immediately obvious that they were all prepared for Ophelia and her shenanigans all day long. Once again, Igla changes out Ophelia's lab coat with practiced ease before quickly brewing a latte and handing it to me. Please enjoy. After all, young Mistress Ophelia made it just for you. Hey, you're the one who made it. But it was accomplished by your instruction, so the credit naturally belongs to you, young mistress. In any case, give it a try. Just gladly takes credit. Thank you very much. I take the coffee and sip from the cup. Yeah, it's really good. It's delicious. Thank you for your hospitality. Sure thing. Only the best from yours truly. Ophelia smiles smugly as though she's the one who made the coffee herself. Yeah, she really just blanks out everything that just happened. Igla shakes her head gently, but her eyes are filled with tenderness. Alright. Enough idle chatter. So what's the schedule for today's interview? Start by taking pictures of your research environment, and then have your specific questions regarding Project Eden's research direction. Isn't that the same as all those other interviews? That's lame. I'm tired of that. I'm sick of it. Surely the best way to understand my research direction is to directly view our research base, right? That's the only place to display my scientific accomplishments. You want to present your research base? But the security level there... Ophelia ignores Igla's hesitation and instead turns to look at me. How about it? Interested? I bet you've never seen anything like it before. As a journalist. Ooh, unfortunately I have. But, you know, on the battlefield. In the red zone. Of course I'm interested. Using a tour of research base that's never been made public before as lead-in, combined with an exclusive report on the project's research direction and content, definitely boosts the credibility of the article. If all goes well, I can make sure it makes the headlines on all major publishing platforms. I never would have expected Ophelia to actively suggest we visit one of her research bases. I decided to accept the offer quickly before anyone can retract it. Looks like today's interview is going far more smoothly than expected. Miss Ophelia, you should know that viewing the experimental area is not part of today's itinerary. If you head over now, it might create direct difficulties for the board, and Master Oleg might also... I'll take care of Dad. Don't worry about it. I'm the supervisor of the research facility, so don't worry. Igla's face is as professional and calm as ever, but I can see the uneasiness in her eyes. However, in the face of Ophelia's determined attitude, all she can do is nod. As you wish, young mistress. Now then, follow me, you lot. I shall show you a true miracle of science. One biometric security door after another is opened before Ophelia and allows us to enter the research base unimpeded. Igla follows closely behind Ophelian. Her movements are as elegant and flowing as ever, but her eyes sweep the surroundings, paying particular attention to us visitors. After several rounds of tiresome identity verification procedures, we arrived at the roof mentioned by Gerard Group 2. By Group 2 before. However, I don't see anything sinister up here. It's just a botanical gardens and research. In fact, a verdant expanse of greenery spreads before me. The flourishing vegetation looks especially vigorous under the sunlight, and a little rainbow arcs through the spray of the irrigation sprinklers. Aurelian stands to the side, looking upon the plants before her with a gaze akin to that of a proud parent. Behold, this is the cradle of Project Eden, my finest work. All the seeds growing across Leva's test plots are born from this little greenhouse. That's a really romantic origin for them. Botany has always been a romantic field of research. Unfortunately, there just aren't enough people in the world who get it. Those academic fossils just don't get my vision. Orpheline cocks her head smugly and gestures to one particular plant. See that? What am I looking at? It's the romance you're talking about. Clueless, I inspect the plant she's pointing at. Orpheline smiles at me, an excited gleam in her eye. When you see the plant hormone signal transduction pathways from a non-linear dynamic system with chaotic characteristics. When the epidemion expresses itself as a higher dimensional space, it codes forming quasi-steady state attractors. When the epigenome expresses itself as a higher dimensional space, it encodes forming quasi-steady state attractors. When the quantum coherent state of photosynthesis propagates, has a non-Markovian process on the sub-femtosecond scale. When an organism forms a complex fractal structure in hyperspace, it's Hausdorff dimension exhibiting non-linear changes over time. The melody they create from the weaving of sine and cosine is the most romantic thing I've ever seen in my life. Igla's watching from the side, a proud smile on her face, like a parent watching a child showing off her talents. Can you understand the scenes I'm describing? I shake my head. I'm not equipped with the vision to perceive what an outstanding scientist like you can see. Your insight and knowledge are far beyond the scope of what I can understand. However, I have a few friends involved in science. I can see the light of reason shining through you, and the fruits of your illumination benefit us all. You don't think what I say is obscure or hard to understand, or even worthless? As a journalist, my job is to convey technical and scientific content in a way that's easily digestible by the masses. When dealing with scientists, we should not try to interpret what they say through a lens of reverence, but to view them as equals and try to understand the vision within their hearts. Technology is a matter and a means of realizing a vision. The greatness of vision is the only standard by which its value should be judged. Miss Ophelian, my guess is that what excites you isn't just the plants themselves, but what they can do. The sheer change they can bring to the world. Am I correct? Am I wrong? Thank you. The acknowledgement she's been looking for. After all these years, first time I've heard an opinion that gets me so well. I was simply saying what I felt. Did you know, ever since I started studying this topic, there have been people trying to profit from my research, others who wanted to use them to develop new kinds of weaponry, and people, even with my own family, who wanted to use this research to build their own reputations. But none of them really wanted to know what I was studying. I'm not saying I don't want to contribute to the Gerard Group or Dad, but they just can't see the beauty. Everyone just wants to enrich themselves. There's an undercurrent of fragility in Ophelian's voice, but she instantly recovers her former pride. Still, none of that matters. It's like I need other people to understand me anyways. Ophelian leads me to an isolated chamber. Then she pushes a button inside it, which seems to activate some kind of device. However, there's no visible change outside the chamber after the activation. This is what happened. I'm currently releasing radioactive particles inside the greenhouse to adjust the ambient radiation intensity. You don't seem very surprised. In the past, all the higher-ups who heard that ran off first chance they got. Maybe it's because I'm not that sensitive to radiation? And so... You're a weirdo. Still, you don't have to worry. We're taking rigorous measures to protect our current position. Yours truly is the most important person of our group. Who'd be dumb enough to throw themselves into a radiation bath? The instrument displays inside the isolation chamber indicate that the equipment is indeed functioning normally under Ophelian's operation. Young mistress, please don't spend too long in the lab. It'll affect the rest of your schedule. You worry too much, Igla. I know my limits. Igla does not press the issue. Instead, she stands silently on the sideline, remaining vigilant and ready to respond to any potentially dangerous situations. Look over there. I look at the plants on the test plot. After being exposed to the radioactive particles, their leaves slowly open and soft buds emerge at the end of their stems. This is followed by the buds blooming one after another, revealing flowers that look like they came out of some fever dream. The colors of the petals are like sprinkler rainbows, changing with the angle of observation. They really should have made a screenshot of this. What, Bet? Hey, Mary. Mariani. How are you? How's it going? Dun 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 dun. Alright, back to reading. Yeah, I have like probably 5 of these in my room. I go through probably one of these every 2 or 3 days, I'd say. But if I'm talking on the mic, though, I need it even more than normal. But yeah, I just... Yep. I shouldn't go to bed, but I should eat soon. Nope, I'm too late anyways. Restaurant already closed. I had to cook at home anyway, so it doesn't matter. I just realized what time it is. Well, I'm gonna keep reading. So, if you hang out, cool. If you don't, have a good night. Message me on Discord if you're ever bored. The instrument displays indicate that the particle density is falling as the flowers bloom. Just as the flowers fully blossom, Ophelian presses another button. Hang out for a bit? Sure, perfect. It looks like it's connected to some kind of energy collection device. The moment Ophelian presses the button, a flare of light fills the greenhouse. Following which, a holographic display comes to life, its contents constantly shifting, like it's showing off the development process of a large future city. The scene goes from a set of radiated ruins to a series of high-rise buildings skyrocketing from the ground. Dense green forests spreading between the buildings until they cover the entire globe. You see? That's the future of Project Eden. The holographic projection we just saw consumed 1 megawatt of electrical power, all provided by the energy converted from the radiation absorbed by those plants. The specially selected plants I've cultivated can be connected to soil-based energy collection devices, which can transmit the power generated gathered by the plants to upstream power source facilities. By connecting them in series, we can scale the applications to the collapsed particles power generation effect as needed. No matter how big or small the target area is, we can use different sized plants of energy collection garbs to absorb ambient collapsed particles to generate power. Okay, so that's their actual plan. So her plan is research to create plants that absorb collapsed radiation and use it as regular energy for the city while also reducing the impact on people. But then the background plan of people trying to destroy her research want to use it for very much more nefarious reasons. Got it. If we can successfully initiate Project Eden tomorrow, the test plots in the yellow zone around Lviv will generate 5,000 megawatts of power per day. You know what that means, right? It means those plots can supply the entire power demand for all of Lviv, the entire city. Precisely. My research will completely revolutionize the field of energy. Biotech turning into actual, just electrical energy. Those geriatric goons who laughed at me will all be begging for my forgiveness in no time. As I listened to Orphelian's explanation, I reminded of Persica's remodeling pattern technology. Remolding pattern technology. But if this was just a recreation of the technology Persica was using, then the so-called Project Eden doesn't seem particularly harmful. But is that really all? Is this everything she told me today really the truth? Orphelian doesn't seem to have realized my suspicion and continues speaking. Currently, the portions of Project Eden that have been announced are only the first phase of the plan, namely, plant-based radiation cleansing. As the plan progresses, these cultured plants will become part of a unique ecological framework, one that will not only restore life to Lviv, but change the living conditions of people around the world. And when the time comes, the particle density of the contamination zones will plummet while the energy cost in the green and white zones will be greatly decreased. A truly win-win situation. I'll turn the URNC into a true Garden of Eden. All those people who doubted me have to apologize to me then. I could even go back to the Frankfurt. Orphelian seems to realize she's made a slip of the tongue and falls silent. I remember that you mentioned in a certain interview that you were present during the Frankfurt incident. Yeah, I was studying abroad in Frankfurt and got caught up in the attack. I thought I'd die there. Fortunately, I survived. May I ask a potentially offensive question? Since you almost died in Frankfurt, why do you still want to go back? That's because when I was there, I saw young mistress. Just as Eagle is about to stop Orphelian from speaking, her communicator suddenly rings. She frowns and glances down at it, but in the end, she turns away to take the call. Understood. What happened? My apologies, young mistress. A sudden emergency has come up which requires my immediate attention. Is it more group business? Why do they keep doing this at key moments? You're my assistant, Igla. It was a call from Lady Chieflik herself. She said the situation is urgent. I'm not a kid. Everything so far says you're basically a kid. Couldn't make coffee. Your clothes were all totally screwed up more than once. You dropped the vials of your research. Also, please contact me immediately if you need anything. I will rush to your side no matter where I am. There's clear worry in Igla's voice, and the concern in her eyes is apparent as she looks at Orphelian. Yeah, I know. Get going. Now go. Igla turns to look at me, and then fleeting gentleness is gone. Sir Editor, I thank you for your interest in the young mistress's research, but I hope you remember that there are some lines which should not be crossed. If that young mistress is inconvenienced in any way, I will know immediately. So I urge you to tread carefully. Saying so, Igla bows, then turns and strides away. She's gone at last. Igla's really capable, and she does care for me, but she can be a real pain at times, always treating me like a kid. This Lady Chilvik, who is she? A friend and a fellow researcher from the group. Orphelian shrugs and doesn't linger on the topic. Now the Eagle's gone, we have a proper discussion. I can say whatever I want without having her breathing down my neck. Orphelian visibly relaxes. She even pumps her fists in excitement, like a child who's finally escaped her guardian. After turning off the equipment, Orphelian and I exit the lab. Talking to you was so much fun that I lost track of time. Me too. I hope this doesn't affect your upcoming itinerary. Don't worry about it. That's just unimportant advertising stuff. Hardly worth my attention anyways. Yes. When you publish your article, Could you help me gather the opinions of the public? Igla usually keeps me off social media, so I'd like to know how I appear in others' eyes. Of course. I suddenly feel a little guilty as I meet Orphelian's sincere gaze. While this interview is an important part of the fact-finding process, the fact remains I'm still lying to her. All I can do now is try to learn the truth ASAP, find Helena, and completely dismantle Paradius' scheme. Speaking of Paradius, based on my conversation with Orphelian today, she doesn't seem to know anything about Paradius at all, and her understanding of Lapsophelian remains at an application level. Her answers to my questions today also seem sincere enough. Based on her performance today, she doesn't strike me as someone who's given to putting on false pretense. If she's really telling the truth, then is Paradius using her research and controlling events in Leaviv from the shadows? I find myself at a loss of whether I should believe what she just said. Miss Orphelian, may I ask you one last question? Yeah, go ahead. If it's within my ability, I'll answer. During the course of your research, did you ever run into any bottlenecks? Bottlenecks? You mean... Let me get this out of the way beforehand. I'm not doubting your capabilities. It's just that the scientist as young as yourself being able to complete such a large project is quite a breathtaking feat. Ew, caught red-handed. Orphelian's expression suddenly turns complex. She bites her lip and looks like she's considering how to answer. Will you publish my answer as part of your article? Will you tell everyone? Do you want me to? Orphelian hesitates. That fleeting weakness from before appears again, but vanishes instantly. It's true that I received some technical support from other scientists during the course of my research. For instance, that Chilvig I mentioned just now is also my best friend. Some other corporation-affiliated researchers gave me some help. Well, sort of those clowns at the R&D. But I can assure you that the conception of the project, the theoretical models and framework, the establishment of the research facilities, all those were the results of my work alone. You might not believe it, but Orphelian pauses again, then takes a deep breath before continuing. I've seen the truth. The truth, that being. Back then, the truth was revealed to me. Everything I understand now comes from what I realized at that moment. That sounds abstract now that I think about it. Just pretend I'm talking nonsense. And don't you dare publish it. Off the record. I understand. While I don't quite understand what she's trying to say, I nod immediately and begin packing up and prepare to leave. However, Orphelian picks this moment to speak again once more. Did you know? Dad called me after that press conference last night. He doesn't call me often. He usually relays all his messages. I'm sorry. Is it because No, not at all. He's actually busy dealing with investigations from the RNC, so he doesn't have time to worry about me. Otherwise, given his way of doing things, he'd probably have had you arrested on charges of disturbing public order. I'm sorry. I didn't say that to scare you. I just wanted to say that I'm very grateful you're willing to interview me, even if doing so is risky for you. After taking to you, I feel like someone finally gets me. For the first time. I've been living under the spotlight that the Drawer Group turned on me for all these years, playing the role of the capable young scientist. My purpose was to show up and gather support when faith in the Drawer Group declined. After all, they needed a pure, presentable symbol. Of course, that was my duty as part of the family. After all, the lab you just saw was funded and built by the Drawer Group. Father gave me just about everything I needed. But I've always thought that my life shouldn't be limited to performing on stage. At times, I wonder, would I be happier if I wasn't the heiress of the Drawer Group? Would I be happier if I was just an ordinary researcher? It's strange, really. When I saw you that day, you looked totally suspicious. I mean, I was. Like an industrial spy trying to dig secrets out of me. I still am. But my instincts told me that you're trustworthy and that you would understand me. So, have we met before? Yes, we met literally in the war zone. You just don't remember. I don't think so. I see. Well, then I guess it must be fate we met today. In any case, make sure you share what I told you today with the world. I just want to create energy out of plants and reduce radiation and radiation sickness. I will do my best in writing the article. That way, everyone will be able to understand the real you. Thank you. Also, please remember that I'm not trying to solicit pity here. I just want everyone to know the true value of my research. Before leaving, I bid Ophelia farewell. She waves and watches me leave. While I still find it hard to trust anyone at the moment, I'm starting to believe that Ophelia is truly unaware of Paradius' plans. My next task is to contact Leva and the others, share what I know with Nampha, let them conduct a more in-depth investigation. As for that little lady, I can only hope her wish comes true. The stand-in assistant escorts us outside the lab and then leaves. The Gerard Group vehicles that's here to pick us up is waiting outside the park area. And Commander, what's next? Something about that Lady Chilvig, whom Ophelia and Ilba mentioned, bothers me. From what Ophelia said about her, she sounds like a pretty important figure. And she's involved with Project Eden, to some extent. Most importantly, I don't think just anyone could get Igla away from Ophelian's side, especially since I, whom Igla clearly didn't trust, would be with Ophelian. Assuming Ophelian really is innocent, could this Chilvig be the one pulling the strings? What if she's been the one manipulating Ophelian from behind the scenes all this time? In that case, Ophelian's complete innocence would make sense, wouldn't it? If so, then the place that Igla is going now is very suspicious. I can't just let a good chance like this slip away from me. Groza, can you have Group 2 trace the location where Igla went to? I think so. They actually just dispatched a squad to follow her. Alright, then we'll... Hang on. Group 2 is reporting an armed force approaching the lab. What? And explosions. Before I can take another step, a massive explosion comes from the lab behind us. A grenade caves in part of the research building, and thick black smoke billows up from behind the structure. I can see the silhouettes of many people through the building's windows. The sounds of intense gunfight can be heard from within. Looks like Kruger's right. Someone's gunning for the young miss. Groza, have Group 2 break stealth, engage the attackers, and get the situation under control. Understood. Moving now. Look out, they got some nasty firepower. An enemy squad well prepared. Engage with caution. No, they don't, because this is in challenge mode. Please give me... 1, 2, 3... You out. I think you're AoE, aren't you? You get in there. I'm leaving AoE. Alright. Just auto this real quick. Because normal mode does not require thought. Just auto battle. Dun, 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 dun. Alright, last unit. And back to reading. The heavy metal door seals shut, hedging out the clamor of the outside world. Inside the lab, the only sounds are the low humming made by various precision instruments echoing in the spacious interior. There's a faint scent of disinfectant in the air, blended with the unique static odor produced by electronic equipment. The atmosphere here is oppressive and choking. In the center of the room was a specially made chair. A high back, its metal armrests have manacles built into them. The chair is covered in various complicated buttons and indicator lights. Its surface is made of some kind of black material that looks cold and hard. Alva has been stripped of all of her equipment and bound to the chair. Her head is lowered and her eyes are dark, currently shut down. Cables of various thickness are plugged into her body. They are connected to devices surrounding her. A huge monitor displays constantly shifting complex data in waveforms. Several lab-coated marionette dolls researchers are working around with Alva. They received extensive and sophisticated biosynthetic external customization, so their facial expressions look exceedingly lifelike. However, the way their fingers fly across the keyboard exudes an inhumanity that is difficult to hide. From time to time, they'll glance up at the data on the big screen and frown, as though they've encountered some problem. One researcher carefully adjusts the cables coming from Alva, ensuring there's a good connection to the equipment. Another researcher carefully studies the data on the screen, constantly taking notes. Yet another researcher is holding a tablet PC, but a closer inspection reveals that they are actually playing a game. I did not see that coming. Click. Suddenly, the sound of a heavy metal door opening shatters the lab silence. Igla's stride is even, like a society gentleman entering a grand theater. Her gaze coldly sweeps the room and instantly locks onto the researcher who's playing solitaire in the corner. Her lips curl with an undetectable disgust, but she maintains her composure. Is there really a need to dress up these marionette dolls and have them act out this charade? It's called aesthetics, Miss Igla. Aesthetics. Oh yeah, so this is the crazy person from the part 1. In response to Igla's question, the figure slowly rolls out of the shadows on a swivel chair. She has a cup of hot tea in one hand, which she's stirring with a spoon in the other. The murky coffee has so much sugar in it that it's practically solid. Her smile is bright and sinister, her eyes are wide, but there's a mania in them. Lady Chilvig. Igla's slightly wrinkled brow and the revulsion in her eyes indicates her true feelings about the researcher. I hope there was good reason for you to summon me while Miss Young Orphelion was receiving guests. Ah, relax. Chilvig tilts her head back and finishes the coffee in one gulp, then spits it all back out. That was awful. What is the meaning of this? Ah, I want to try and live like my idol in order to spark some inspirations. However, I'm bad with sweet stuff. Oh yeah, clean it up. Janny. A marionette doll steps in from the sideline, cleans up the floor. Chilvig chuckles and puts the sediment-filled mug back on their table, then kicks off the ground to see her spinning chair revolving until she gets dizzy. You are free to enjoy your personal amusements, but the reason why I rushed here upon receiving the news was to obtain results, not appreciate your aesthetics. The young mistress is an entertaining important guest, and I cannot be away for long. Despite Igla's polite tone, the annoyance in her eyes is growing. She walks slowly to the center of the lab, her gaze locks on the bound Alva like she's inspecting exquisite but flawed work of art. Lighten up. Did you know? The way you frown reminds me of when my kitty at home gets mad. Chilvig laughs in a melodramatic way and even jumps out of the chair, hopping and skipping over to Igla and making a kitty's got claws gesture at Igla. Your sense of humor is as striking as ever. Get to the point. I need to return to the young mistress' side, who's currently being attacked and you don't even know. Young mistress this, young mistress that. Every other word out of your mouth is about Ophelia. Ah, I'm so jelly. Fine then. What I want to say is we gained absolutely nothing from hacking into her. Oh no. Zip, zilch. It was a catastrophic failure. Everything's bad. Chilvik's tone suddenly switches to a theatrical depression. She collapses into her chair, face falling into a mask of exaggerated despair as she tilts her head back to gaze at the ceiling. Her neural cloud's been completely locked down. Nobody's been able to get into it. I've tried 107 different methods to crack it, but none of them worked. My guess is that this is the legendary Pandora's Code I've heard so much about. Fucking genius. I swear to God. Seriously, it's been 10 years and nobody able to crack it yet? Pretty scary, don't you think? In any case, my plan to get her to her base layer through the direct access method looks like a bust. Lame. That would have been too easy. How disappointing. Did you pull me all the way from Young Mistress' side just to tell me that? Aww. But I need to throw the incredible and amazing processor power of 3rd gen doll yourself at this particular problem. You're here to be the code cracker. I mean, there's no doll in the Gerard group has better electronic warfare than you. Correct? And why should I help you? It's so that... Igla glares coldly at Chilveg, who responds with an ingrating and annoying smile as she rubs her hands together. It's so that we can better implement the young mistress Project Eden, of course. The considerable effort DeFi expanded to seize that box suggests they likely had a lot of data on the specimen inside. We might find top secret information on there to help the young mistress overcome her technical barriers. Did I sound like I was trying to trick you? Igla lightly adjusts her cuffs with her slender fingers. Her movements are simple, but there's a chilling pressure in them. Reactivate her. Are you sure you're doing this? Really? Really sure? Chilvig's eyes light up as she suddenly cozies up to Igla, a look of something resembling surprise in her face. It's not like whatever hidden agendas you may have can do me any harm. What's that supposed to mean? Of course the young mistress' well-being is my top priority. I just happen to be able to get little something out of it too. Igla does not answer her. She only unreels a cable from her own access port. Be careful when hacking her. If you fail to break their barriers, she'll probably self-destruct on the spot. And that would be game over. Focus on your work, Lady Chilvig. Igla's tone does not change, but there's an undeniable authority in her words. I am sure you're aware that time is not on either of our sides. What's this? Has old man Elig already found out you've been messing around behind his back? Looks like that old dude isn't as dumb as he looks. If he finds out you were interfering with his business. Mind your words, Lady Chilvig. Yes, yes. You're the best, Boss Igla. Boss Igla's the fairest. Boss Igla's wish is my command. Chilvig bows in an over-the-top fashion to show she's ready to cooperate, and her eyes shine ever brighter. In response to Chilvig's acquaintance, the marionette dolls dressed up as the humans begin moving without command, as though they've been suddenly infused with life force. Their movements are mechanical and precise, with no hesitation or delays. They follow procedures meticulously. The click of switches and the humming of machinery is like a prayer for resurrection. Electrical current flows through the cables plugged into Alva and into her body. She reflexively struggles and groans in pain. However, the bindings which secure her in place leave her unable to move. The awakening process takes some time. After a while, Alva slowly opens her eyes. Her blurry vision slowly focuses onto clarity. After surveying her unfamiliar surroundings, she turns to the marionette dolls, now frozen in place, their earlier flurry of movement replaced by vacant stares fixed on her. She does not catch the silhouette of Chilvig. Instead, her gaze goes straight to Ilga. Upon seeing her, Alva suddenly relaxes and smiles. Ilga raises an eyebrow, almost imperceptibly. That is her sole expression of surprise. She gracefully adjusts her jacket and slowly walks to Alva, a look of calm judgment in her eyes. I have to admit, your response is rather unexpected. May I ask what amuses you? I'm sure I'm smiling because you're completely out of options. Alva's tone is calm, but with an undercurrent of mockery in it. You've already tried to hack my base layer, haven't you? And if you succeeded, you wouldn't have powered me back on. Accurate. Igla's eyes flash coldly. Also, the fact that you're here can only mean one thing. Voimistina is harder to capture now that she's moving alone, isn't she? Your target's smaller now. You might not even be able to locate her as well. Otherwise, there's no way that you, as the one person who can fight her on even terms, would possibly leave the battlefield. After all, I'm just an unimportant side character, aren't I? She pauses, then continues. The reason you're here, and not at the front, plain and simple. You failed to capture Voimistina, and to crack my neural cloud. In other words, you are completely out of options and it's eating you up inside. Igla chuckles. Her laughter is elegant and melodious, but cold as ice. She approaches Alva and reaches out to lightly lift her chin, feigning gentleness. Your powers of observation deserve praise, but you're jumping to conclusions. Trying to anger your opposition will not wise, especially given your situation. What I can do for you far exceeds what you can imagine. Oh, is this where the fun part begins? She's so insane. Chilvik has moved behind Alva at some point. She claps excitedly, a twisting glee twinkling in her eyes. Oh, Alva Chica, did you know? Miss Igla might look as meek as milk, but there's no limit to how far she'll go to get the job done. I'm actually kind of curious as to just what she'll do to you. Will you cry and leak snot everywhere? Will you scream and beg for mercy? Or will you just go mad and have a psychotic breakdown on the spot? You again. Alva's composure shows its first crack upon noticing Chilvik's presence. Aren't you supposed to be dead? That's the least of your worries right now, my dear. Chilvik's voice is filled with a childlike curiosity and excitement. She bends down and speaks into Alva's ear, but she does not whisper, ensuring that Igla can hear too. Miss Igla might appear dignified, elegant, and proper as hell, but in private, oh boy. I bet she's going to play all kinds of games with you. Lady Chilvik, while your eagerness is most touching, would you mind reining yourself in a little? I'm not as insane as you. Igla's tone bears a hint of warning. Believe me, you could not even begin to inflict the kind of suffering I've already been through. After her brief surprise, Alva quickly gets her emotions under control and faces Igla again. There's a look of what could almost be admiration in Igla's eyes as she gazes at Alva. She takes a step back, her hand gently caressing Alva's cheeks. It's a gesture so tender it could even come from a lover, but it sends a chill down Alva's spine. Your resilience is most admirable, however, I have no intention of trying to outdo your past. Instead, I'm curious, when your partner was freed by your departure, did you feel something like relief? After all, you were always the millstone around her neck, were you not? Alva's only response is a scornful smile. For some reason, the smile ignites a nameless flame in Igla's neurocloud. She turns away and addresses Chilvik in a voice that allows no refusal. I think we can go straight to the final phase for her. Wow! Right to the main course, then? Chilvik rubs her hands together in excitement. I can't wait to see what her neurocloud's like. It's an intricate little box. A patch of starry sky. Maybe a labyrinth. All so exciting. Igla pays no attention to Chilvik's antics. She simply nods to indicate that the marionette dolls should continue their work. Do it. Several marionette dolls surround Igla, their hands connecting various cables to the access ports Igla has opened up. A massive amount of signals floods through them into Alva's mind, blacking out her vision. Alva struggles in the darkness with all her might, but she can't break free of the bonds which hold her. For an instant, Alva's body twitches and shudders before she goes limp and unconscious. Her offensive barriers are down. You can do whatever you want to her now. What? Already? That said, I don't know how long this is going to last, so you better work fast. No worries, just leave it to me. Chilvig gleefully waves her hands. Her eyes are practically shining as she approaches Alva, admiring her like an exotic treasure. Did you know, Miss Silgua? While my specialty is plants, I like to study tall neural clouds in my free time. They hold so many secrets and surprises. Opening them up is like unwrapping a present. If you ever decide to donate your body to science, please let me know. I love reviewing AI minds. Your enthusiasm is most striking. I hope you apply it in the right direction. Igla's words are calm and even, but the warning in her voice is becoming increasingly evident. Normally, I would return to young Mr. Side immediately, but after taking the importance of the matter into consideration, I decided to stay behind to personally supervise the procedure. Igla walks over the control panel at the side of the lab and sits down in a high-back chair. Her poise and posture are perfect, her gaze locked onto Alva. I'm honored that you hold us in such high regard, Miss Igla. Chilvig fakes a look of depression, but there is a sly glint in her eyes. Do not misunderstand me, milady Chilvig. I am simply ensuring that everything is going according to plan. After all, I have some deep concerns about your work. Oh, ye of little faith. Miss Igla. Chilvig makes a show of pouting before a fanatical smile spreads across her face. Naturally, she's going to take good care of this new toy of hers. In fact, she has a special dream ready for Alva. I look forward to seeing your results. Chilvig turns toward the Alva, her hands gently crossing her still features, her eyes gleaming with an obsessive light. All right. Now then, how shall I play with my new toy in my madness? Her heart lurches, as though it's going to burst out from her chest. Alva wakes up, and then she remembers that she doesn't even have a heart in the first place. Her breathing grows ragged, her body glistens with cold sweat, and she feels a chill run down her spine, with nothing but utter darkness before her. She unconsciously reaches up to touch her eyes. She can't see anything. Is it just dark, or is she blind? She reflectively attempts to move forward, but she feels as though she's suspended in the void, with no way to exert her strength. Alva realizes that she's being hacked at this point, and at that moment she realizes that the surroundings suddenly fill with a burst of noise that approaches her rapidly, as though it's locked onto Alva's presence and is closing in on her. As the terrifying sound draws closer, a blinding light suddenly appears before Alva. She reflexively reaches a hand out to block it, but the next moment, the true extent of the bone-chilling sight around her becomes apparent. Elids. Monsters growling at her. Thousands of Elids are rushing her like a flood. The horde extending as far as the eye can see and exuding a nauseating stench. All of this almost convinces her that she isn't just seeing things. Alva frantically tries to bring her gun to shoot back, but she finds that her hands are empty. And in this moment of confusion, she's swamped by a tide of monsters, carried away like a reed on a flood. Get the hell away from me. She struggles with all her might, her steely fingers ripping limb after limb away from the Elids' bodies. However, the endless tide of Elids feel no pain, and they eventually gain the upper hand. Her frame is gouged open by sharp claws and teeth, her circuits slashed apart. The sparks from her power system char black, smoking chunks into the horde. But it doesn't stop them in the least. Alva can feel her vision going dark once again. This time, it seems to foretell her imminent demise. Her limbs are slowly running out of strength. She doesn't know if it's because her power circuits are cut or if it's because her CPU is on the verge of crashing. An AI that's being horribly ruined, unfortunate. She opens her mouth, but she can't make a sound. The creatures burrow into Bury her in the abyss. She doesn't feel pain, only a growing fatigue. She's getting a little tired. AN-94, get a hold of yourself. Wake up. Oh yeah, this is the second conscious that's in her? That's right. She was the AI that took Troll's body, but she took one more AI inside of her. That was the story. Just as Alva is about to doze off, a mighty force suddenly grabs her arms and pulls her out of the Elid horde. Before she can react, she hears the sound of a gun cocking above her head. Right after that, she feels her AN-94 thrust into her hands like a fire poker. She stares in disbelief at the person who handed it to her. Shut up, you don't have time to spout rubbish. Get ready to fight. Maybe it's almost 9 o'clock. I want to read more, but I need to eat too. More restaurants close. I don't think I have any food I can cook. What to do, what to do. Oh my gosh, I'm only halfway. Note of 1, 2, 3, 4. Spotless swan, the most beautiful, precious, and pure feather in the world. A sticky, choking darkness plugs her nose and throat. It's disgusting, but she can't even throw up. This is the only thing Alva can feel right now. It's as though she's drowning in a huge swamp, unable to breathe or move. Roars slam into her ears, accompanied by the nauseating sound of chewing. They're Elids. These aren't the usual Elid creatures, but human-based infected, surging towards her like a flood. Alva's never seen such a variety of Elids before. Yet the monster before her eyes take all kinds of forms. Some look like beasts, others resemble insects. Still more appear human, but all of them radiate the same terrifying presence. Their claws can easily rend a doll's armor, and so Alva fights back with all her might, her guns spewing fire and bringing down one Elid after another. However, more Elids rush up to meet her, as though they are endless. Alva can feel her bullets hitting them, even smell the charred odor in the air. However, these monsters appear to know no fatigue or pain. There are far, far too many of them. A powerful sense of helplessness fills Alva's neural cloud. A profound realization that nothing she does matters, driving her to lower her gun. What are you doing, 94? Keep shooting. At the sound of a sharp rebuke behind her, her frame shudders and frantically reloads and starts shooting once again. Take out this wave and we'll withdraw together. I already have charges set, so make sure you move fast. Angie emerges from behind her, and it's then that Alva sees her fully. Her hair is tied up, and she's barking orders while firing her gun. In other words, she's just the same as she used to be. After emptying her last magazine, she throws her weapon at the oncoming tide before punching Alva on the shoulder and yelling at her. 94, with me. Angie retreats and Alva immediately follows her. Angie pulls out a detonator and tosses it to Alva. The Elid horde has already swamped their previous position. Blow them all to hell, 94. She presses the detonator without hesitation, and an explosion erupts. A wave of searing heat washes over from her behind and sends the surrounding sand and dust flying everywhere. At this point, Alva finally sees that this is an old train station, and Angie is leading her deeper inside it. Well done, 94. You think we're safe? Angie and Alva run over to the platform. Rail lines extend as far as I can see in either direction, but there are no train carriages within the station. The place where the train should be is instead full of monsters, their eyes full of savagery. They emit low growls as they begin slowly chasing and closing in. Looks like I spoke too soon. 94. What's your ammo situation like? Alpha looks down at her weapons. All she has left in the final magazine that's already loaded into her rifle. Meanwhile, Angie pulls out the MP443 at her waist and her combat knife before smiling bitterly. Looks like we'll need to hang in there until the train arrives. It's gonna be a hard fight. So let's get ready for it, 94. We need to survive this. Countless elids flood the train station, but the train Angie's talking about does not arrive. Countless elids flood the train station, but the train she was talking about does not arrive. Alva mounts her bayonet and lays into the elid horde with all her might. Disgusting fluids and limbs fly through the air as she stabs and slashes them while her bayonet gleams coldly. Where's the rest of the task force Defy? Why aren't they here to protect Angie? That's right. How's Angie doing? Alva suddenly thinks back to the one person who requires the most protection in this desperate situation. She tries to call Angie's name, but she's unable to project a sound. It's certainly not for any lack of trying, but any vocalization she can manage is drowned out by the thunderous roars of the elid horde. Her throat feels dry and painful, as though someone's strangling her. The only thing that leaves her mouth is a weak expulsion of air. She desperately opens her mouth, but all she manages to do is inhale more of the choking air. And she sees Angie. Angie's standing close by, facing away from her as she struggles valiantly against the elids. It's as though she can't see Alva. Her gun spews flames as she pulls the trigger without stopping, bringing down one elid after another. However, there's simply too many. They're like an endless tide, wave after wave, washing in with no end in sight. Several elids have already fallen around Angelia, but even more elids are already lunging at her. One of them pounces from behind, his sharp claws seeking her exposed back. Angelia nimbly evades it, but another elid charges her from the side. She opens fire and kills that elid, but even more rush up and surround her. Angelia's movements begin to slow down, and the gun in her hand locks open on an empty chamber. For all her strength and will and extensive training, she's ultimately only a human being. Her body bears several wounds, and fresh blood oozes from them. Alva wants to rush over, but the elids have already surrounded her as well, to the point where she can't even take a step forward. Angie. Angie. All she can do is watch the horde swallow up Angie, powerless to help. This powerless is very familiar. A huge elid throws itself at Angie and knocks her to the ground. Alva reflexively reaches for the gun at her waist, but her hands find nothing. At almost the same time, she sees Angie's pistol on the ground. It is the MP443 who accompanied her for 10 years. Angie tries to struggle to her feet, but the elid's sharp claws have already pierced deep into her body. Crimson blood stains her clothes instantly. A more visceral and shocking sight compared to how electronic components are exposed when a doll's synthetic skin is torn open. Angie collapses to the ground, still struggling weakly. Alva can also see that she's looking at her. While her eyes are filled with pain and the refusal to accept her fate, there's no fear or despair there. Her lips are moving slightly, as though she's trying to tell Alva something. However, Alva cannot make out what she's trying to say. All she can hear are the howls and roars of the monsters. Suddenly, Angelia pounds the ground and all the surrounding sounds vanish, as though Alva has gone deaf all of a sudden. The fallen Angelia suddenly kicks away the elid attacking her and shouts at Alva. In a world of silence, her voice is clear and almost deafening. Board the train. What? Sound suddenly turns to the world. The elid's howl pierces the silence first, then the urgent blare of a train horn as it thunders into the station. She can also hear a machine gun firing from behind her. The elids around her collapse to the ground. You're a mess, senior of mine. Nadia? The doll with the machine gun winks, but her weapons never stop firing, cutting down one knob elid after another. Her smile is as mysterious as Alva remembers, but after learning the full truth, she realizes that there's something else behind the mystery. This isn't right. You're... Yes, I'm already dead. All men must die, after all. After laying down a torrent of ferocious firepower, RP-16's LMG finally falls silent. She's out of ammunition. But dolls do not die, and neither will you, Alpha. As long as our clouds are connected, we can be saved forever. It's time you boarded the train. At least memories of us can be. Boarded? All Alpha feels is stabbing pain in her neural cloud. It's as though she's forgotten something very important. The train's brakes shriek as they engage, slowly grinds to a halt amidst a spray of sparks. Then the door to its cabin suddenly flies open as though we're waiting for someone. Alpha opens her mouth to ask what's going on, but she doesn't get the chance to say anything, because RP-16, still smiling, suddenly raises her hand and shoves her onto the train. That Russian? It is, okay. Take care of yourself, dear daughter. Okay, so she's the programmer who made the AI of her body. The force of the shove sends Alva rolling over the floor of the cabin. The door immediately closes and the train begins to move. Alva rushes over to the door and pounds on it. Through the glass, she sees the doll who calls herself Embla walking slowly towards Angelia. Meanwhile, more and more Elids rush towards them, and soon they're buried beneath the tide of corpses. No matter how Alva shifts herself, she can't see them. Boop. Alva suddenly snaps awake. Her original blurred vision begins to focus. Her frame's functions quickly recover, and the scenery before her gradually focuses into a cold, white expanse. She is lying in a half-sealed capsule, and the cables used to assault her neurocloud are still connected to her access ports. This place is cramped. She's surrounded by ice-cold metal on all sides, covered in a complex array of wiring and indicator lights. Her body is bound to a chair, unable to move except for some small head movements. The capsule is filled with a quiet hum. Upon closer listening, it turns out to be running noise of varying pieces of equipment which make her feel anxious and uneasy. A wave of dizziness washes over Alva, and she even feels the phantom pain of severed limbs as simulated nociception. Is that a real word? Nociception. In psychology, nociception, from Latin nocere, to harm, is the sensory nervous system process of encoding noxious stimuli. A series of events are process required for an organism to receive and trigger signal to trigger an appropriate defense response. Can be mechanical, thermal, stimulation of sensory neurons. Okay. The phantom pain of severed limbs simulated nociception signals assaults her neurocloud. That's unfortunate. She is the AI that had some of the most extensive, unfortunately, pain receivers installed. The signal feels incredibly real. So real that she's actually experiencing a sense of weightlessness, as though her body no longer belongs to her. They've force-activated all her biosynthetic sensory feedback links, so her experience during this enhanced interrogation session is as close to a human's as possible. It just means they're torturing her, because they're pieces of crap. She even experienced that ordeal in level 2 as a human being would. All of this manages to distort even the The present Alva. Her neural cloud is slow and chaotic, like she's being forcibly subjected to excessive input. It takes her nearly 20 seconds before she can come to her senses and start thinking again. The outer offensive barrier of her neural cloud has been broken. The opposition is now flooding her level 2 layer with a huge amount of sensory data. Level stimulating human level torture, inducing suffering, in a final attempt to overwhelm her operating logic. They are also attempting to override Alva's original cognitive process with the large quantities of phantom signals, aiming to force her defensive systems to a self-destruct. However, these attacks have not been effective, and Alva thus woke from her nightmare. Her miserable, painful nightmare of being eaten alive by monsters, yes. Alva files silent. Had she woken from the nightmare because of Angelia, or was it because of her? As she peers through the observation port of the neural capsule, Alva can see the spacious lab where she had been just a while ago. The researchers in white are working on the lab instruments and recording data. They don't seem to have noticed that she's woken up. Alva frowns because she sees Ilga standing in the middle of the lab. She doesn't know how long she's been unconscious. After all, there's no way to judge the passing of time in level 2, and her internal chronometer doesn't work anymore. Perhaps Igla is still here because she was only shut down for 2 minutes, or maybe it's been a full day, and Igla had already left and returned. This is by no means an unimportant matter. While Alva was pondering this, she suddenly notices a human soldier rushing in from the outside the lab. His outfit looks very similar to the armed troops she fought earlier. There's an anxious, frightened look on his face, and his forehead is covered in sweat. I have news, ma'am. Despite his evident panic, he walks and carries himself like a proper soldier. However, it's still obvious he's forcing it. Alva can tell that he's wounded, even from a distance. Igla maintains her calm bearing even after seeing her subordinate's condition. She turns slowly, her eyebrows slightly furrowed as she studies the guard. Please explain the reason you've come here. The guard gulps. His throat shifts visibly as he swallows, but he does not answer Igla's question right away. Igla's frown deepens. A flicker of unease passes through her eyes, as though she already knows this news is not good. Is it about AK-15? Did she manage to break through the lockdown? Or did someone force their way into the sewer search area? Nope, nothing to do with her. Our squads are still carrying out their search. More sweat beads on the guard's forehead. He knows that no matter how hard he tries, there's no avoidance coming. Miss Olfine is in danger. That's my guess. Igla's gaze is gentle, but still terrifying. It's about the young mistress. Yep. He takes a deep breath and finally manages to work up the courage to speak before he can even finish explaining why he's here. Hearing that the key phrase causes Igla to instantly lose her composure. Fueled by a rare savagery, she seizes the man by the collar and lifts him off the ground. What happened to the young mistress? The lab was attacked. But the young mistress, she's alright. The man frantically tries to explain himself like he's pleading for his life. Igla's face goes pale. She lets go of the man. He drops to the ground amidst a fit of coughing. She forces herself to stay calm, but the anger and worry in her eyes is obvious to anyone. The guard doesn't dare to raise his head or look at Igla's face. He opens his mouth as though he's about to speak, but he doesn't mean to utter anything beyond nonsensical syllables. He's heard rumors about Igla. Just as the guard is teetering on the verge of panic, Igla suddenly reaches for her pistol at her waist. It looks like it's been custom made. Gold-plated body shimmers in a faint blue light. She raises it with a blank expression on her face, so fast the guard can't even react by it. By the time the guard realizes what's going on, all he can do is close his eyes in resignation and despair. However, Igla defies everyone's expectations by turning and taking aim at Chilveg, who's spinning lazily in her chair. She pulls the trigger. A fireball erupts from the gun's muzzle. Its primitive black powder propellant belches a thick gun smoke cloud. Chilveg's face disintegrates into crimson mist, the massive impact sending her entire body crashing to the ground. She doesn't even manage to cry out. Her fingers twitch slightly and then goes limp. Foul-smelling blood oozes from the hole in her head and makes a huge stain on the ground. The guard's eyes goes wide as he covers his mouth, desperately fighting the urge to scream. It's not that he hasn't seen dead people before. In fact, he's personally created many corpses in the line of duty. But right now, he's terrified beyond the capacity for rational thought. Alva observes all this with a blank look on her face. Igla's actions are ruthless and decisive. but not surprising. Alva's already seen Thwig's true nature from the start. After Chilvig collapses, the marionette dolls milling around the lab, indistinguishable from human beings, all start to collapse lightlessly, one after the other. Whoosh. Meanwhile, a device on the other side of the lab suddenly comes to life. It looks like the sleep capsule Alva is currently occupying. Its silver-colored exterior and hatch gleam with a dazzling light. A burst of noise, the machinery runs and gears engage, and then the capsule's hatch slowly opens, emitting a cloud of white vapor. And now steps the next clone. A naked woman steps out of it, wreathed in whiffs of what looks like some sort of refrigerant gas as it evaporates. She casually reaches for a lab coat from a nearby peg and throws it on. With her entrance, the collapsed researchers who look like puppets with their strings cut all begin to slowly get back up. They appear as though they've never been recalled to life and carry on with their tasks like nothing had happened. How barbaric. The woman from the capsule sighs heavily, but her tone is theatrical and mocking. Her hair is damp and her face is oily, like someone spread a layer of butter on it. But it's plain to see that she looks identical to the Chilvig who's lying dead on the ground. Why the temper tantrum? Is this how you treat an old friend, Miss Ilga? How rude. As she says this, she snaps her fingers like it's performing a magic trick. In response to her signal, several researchers like the ones who cleaned up the coffee spill before her promptly appear from a corner of the lab. They begin clearing away the corpse and bloodstains. Their movements are swift and practiced, as though they've rehearsed this countless times before. Or maybe they've had to perform this procedure innumerable times before. After carrying the corpse away, mopping up the blood, and re-waxing the floor, everything is back to how it originally was. That is some, macabre, creepy shit. It's as though nothing has ever happened. Please return to your post. Yes, ma'am. The guard scrambles out of the lab as if granted a stay of execution. After watching the guard scramble away, he returns to regard the brand new Chilvig. I thought I would not need to explain myself, but clearly I overestimated your intelligence. Don't forget, the only reason I went along with this despicable schemes is the sake of the drawer group and the young mistress. The only reason I'm going along with your despicable schemes. Aren't we a paragon of virtue? So how was my fault? You think I sent those people to attack the lab? I'm a scientist, and I swear in the name of science, my brain is perfectly normal. No, you're totally insane, actually. Meanwhile, what good does putting a bullet through my head do for you anyway? You're always so violent, Miss Ilga. No wonder if he thinks you're so strict. A wisp of smoke coils up from the barrel of Igla's gun. She takes aim at Chilvig again. Its muzzle is trained squarely onto Chilvig's head, and she looks like she might fire again at any time. However, Chilvig doesn't seem the least bit afraid of her. All she does is shrug and mock innocence, and madness twinkles in her eyes. So this was why she could appear again like nothing happened before, even after committing suicide? Chilvig follows the gaze back towards the source and realizes that Alva's awake. She bats her eyelashes and opens her mouth in a parody of surprise, then tosses off a wink while smiling with a twisted playfulness. Alva coolly meets her gaze. Resurrection, is it? What a disgusting technology. Igla narrows her eyes and studies Chilvig. She takes note of the latter's antics, but she doesn't seem to care about them. I was away from the lab for less than half an hour, and it just so happened to be attacked during that time. Right when I wasn't around. Do you really think I would write it off as coincidence? Of course it was. Isn't everything in the world a coincidence? Even us meeting each other is all a coincidence. Chilvig turns and plays like a kid, her lab coat flaring out in the air around her. You asked me to hurry here because a critical issue arose during D5 members' interrogation. Did I say that? I'm a scatterbrain, you see. Chilvig affects a look of vexation, and then she throws herself back into her chair, kicks her legs up like a child. Still, if I were you, I'd hurry back to the young mistress' side right now instead of blowing off steam by blowing up my head. Even if she's fine, she might be super scared. And besides, if the attacks come back for another go, Do you really think she might be as lucky as next time around? Very unveiled threats. Ayla's face turns pale and a momentary panic flashes through her eyes. Then she adjusts her jacket, holsters her gun, and her movements regain her usual smoothness. If anything happens to the young mistress, I will personally assure there is no coming back for you, Lady Chilvig. Her voice is calm again, but the chilling threat she utters is more terrifying than any shout could ever be. She shoots one last icy look at Chilvig before returning to leave. She doesn't bother with affecting elegance. Her priority is returning to Exilium and the lab post-haste. Her footsteps fade in the distance and vanish. All that remains in her wake is gun smoke and the stench of blood. And there she goes. Someone clearly doesn't know how to enjoy life. Don't you think, Alva? After Igla leaves, Chilvig jumps out of her chair, spins around happily like she's putting on a show in this lab, which only has marionette dolls in it. Alva knows Chilvig's talking to her. However, she has no intention of replying. Chilvig skips over to Alva's hibernation capsule. The hem of her lab coat drags on the ground, her bare feet make a padding sound as she moves. Like a curious child, she taps the observation window and cranes her head to peer in. Alva inside the capsule. I didn't expect you to wake in halfway through. Looks like your neural cloud is stronger than I expected. She looks at Alva in amusement, her eyes twinkling like she's appreciating a precious work of art, or a beloved toy. A normal doll's neurocloud would have burned out in less than 3 seconds after being hooked up to her. And you actually managed to break free of that peak-grade torture program all by yourself? Want to know something? If you ask me, I think you're more of a third-gen doll than Igla is. Alva looks at the Nido research before her. Her heart is filled with revulsion and wariness. She has no idea what this woman's up to. The folks from Orleg are all dim-witted plebs. Their approach to doll development has gone astray. Each one of them develops stronger than last, but the neural clouds get more childish with each generation. I mean, if the mark of excellence was fighting power, then the first third-gen doll wouldn't be ROK-35, but AK-15 of DeFi. Right? Igla's got her little girl crush in that war machine, but she never noticed that you are the real treasure of Task Force Defy. You have the AI capacity far beyond everyone else, even if your combat power is lower. There's no doubt that Samantha Shaw is a genius. She spent most of her life developing military hardware, yet despite only becoming a newcomer to the doll field, she managed to create that Pandora in you. I'm so jelly. Chilvig hears the theatrical sigh, heaves the theatrical sigh, her face falling into gloom before brightening suddenly with a huge smile. Still, however talented or outstanding she is, she's dead, returned to the earth, and that means it's all over for her. The true winner is the one who survives to the end. She indicates herself with her right thumb. Despite her beaming smile, there's a frigid edge to it. I may not be as smart as those geniuses, but I will survive to the end, stand on everyone's shoulders, and be the first to reach the truth. I don't know what truth they're looking for. And you are my next stepping stone, my cutie. Chilvig bares her teeth in a grin as she knocks on the observation window, like she was rapping on a pet's fishbowl. Now then, let's continue our little game. Don't worry. I'll make sure you won't wake up this time. Let's see just how much I can extract from your neurocloud. I wonder what surprises I'll find in there. Saying so, she saunters over to the control panel in front of the hibernation capsule, shoves away the marionette doll working there, and begins operating the instrumentation herself. The capsule emits a low hum in response to Chilvig's manipulations, and Alva feels her mind go blurry once again. Darkness envelops once more. The last thing she sees before she passes out is Chilvig's playful, excited expression. And then she plunges into darkness. But this time, she does not know if she'll ever awaken again. Alright, that is enough for me. That was super dark. Bum, bada, bum. Alrighty. Yeah, it's almost 9:30. I need to order food and go out and get dinner, like right now. Otherwise the place is going to be closed by 10. So I am done for the night, and I will read the rest of this, I don't know, either Friday or Saturday maybe? That was a lot longer than I thought it'd be. A lot longer than I thought it'd be. Thanks for listening, Mary. Have a good night. Sleep well. We should definitely play, I don't know, something. I kind of wanted to pick up Monster Hunter again if you want to play sometime. We'll play something together at some point. Supposedly a patch came and fixed all of their major hiccups from Monster Hunter. Plus, it's the last, like, something, I don't know. Anyways, we'll find something to play at some point. Or if you ever pick up another MMO, let me know. I am off for now. Good night.